Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to the NJ podcast. This podcast aims to share stories, tips, and insights about achieving success while having fun. From topics ranging from personal development to business, entertainment, and sports, the podcast will have conversations with experts and people in their respective fields. The podcast will also share insights from Jablo James's published and upcoming books. The tagline, which is the theme of the podcast, is "Success is a progressive realization of a worthy ideal." This means that you are doing what you have always wanted to do because it is aligned with your highest values, and this is the only way you can live a truly fulfilled life. Your host, Jablo James.
Hey everyone, this is NJ, host of the NJ podcast, and this is season 2 of the NJ podcast conversations. Remember that the theme of the show is that success is a progressive realization of a worthy ideal. That means you're going after what you've always wanted to go after because it's aligned with your highest values. That means that's the only way that you can live a truly fulfilled and inspired life. And on the show today, I have Nathi Mabena. Nathi and I call him Rumi. He's my best man. Well, the best man at all of my weddings, all of them.
There were a couple of them.
There were a couple of them, and he's one of the friends I've known the longest. We've started becoming close over the past decade or so. And he's a hustler and all-around good guy. You know what I mean?
Thank you, Mango.
All the time. He loves it. So Mango, not Mango, Nathi.
There we go.
Nathi, can you please introduce yourself to the people? Who is Nathi? Why is Nathi? And where is Nathi going?
Okay, my name is Nathi Mabena.
Yeah.
I'm a second child from the late Queen Mabena and Dr. Mabena.
Mm-hmm.
I think of myself as someone who broke out from being an introvert and moved into being an extrovert somewhat.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I've been out of school matric-wise it's shocking actually, for the past 14 years now.
14 years. It's been a long time. Yeah.
It's 14. It's actually 10 plus 6. Yeah, it's 16 years.
16 years we've been out of
from 2006.
Yeah. You moved in 2006. Wow.
2006. So I'm always fond. I'm always fond of people who were born in the year 1988.
1988. Why?
Because that's the year that I was born.
Oh, that's the year you were born.
So
okay.
I always think of people who were born in 1988 as the game changers.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we part of the 80s, and also as we're part of the 80s, but we're the late 80s. But we're smarter than those that are born in 89 and 90.
Yeah. Who is it? What about us 91 babies? What you gonna say about that?
I can't even think of you guys. But we get along with people who were in the early 80s, 81, etc. Even in dating, you can date someone who's from 1981. You know, they're not that much older than you.
All of 7 years?
Yeah.
7 years.
What's 7 years?
Well, for you say it's 7 years. For me, it's a decade.
You see, there we go. So I'm from a very humble background. When I say humble, I'm not meaning from a perspective of finance, whatever, but purely I had parents who were very humble in nature. You know, parents who were loved by everyone who they interacted with. They loved people as much as people loved them. You know, from a family of 6, and we just grew up privileged with having 2 parents, I suppose. You know, we grew up with having 2 parents, but it is a privilege. We had the privilege of seeing 2 parents love each other. You know, I'm not saying they didn't have problems, but they never told me, you know, about the problems that they had. So, those are some of the privileges that I experienced. After matric, went to work for my uncle a bit. Then I followed through studying a bit. Still studying, by the way. Still doing my first degree, by the way.
Still doing your first degree.
14 years later.
14 years later.
It happens.
You know, you love it so much that you didn't want to let go of it for 14 years. That's what.
There we go. But in all honesty, I think school is it's tough for me. Let me talk about me.
Okay.
I moved from a high school perspective whereby I was getting through each and every grade. The first time that I actually failed or experienced failure in high school was in grade 11,
Yeah.
second term.
Yeah.
And first term, I failed Afrikaans.
Okay.
That was my first failure of a term in my entire schooling career.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it was kind of a shock because I've never actually had that moment of failure. You know, I'd fail maybe in making my bed. I'd fail in not really making my parents happy by not washing my socks when I come back from school. Or washing my shirt, you know. But from a school or let's call it the social part, that was the first time I experienced it. It really, I wouldn't say it took a knock on me, but I took it very well.
Yeah.
But I didn't understand as well that I actually had to study.
Yeah.
Because I always got away with it.
Oh, okay. Oh,
you know?
okay.
Some people don't realize that when they get to school, they get away with it.
Yeah.
You know, that's why when you get to varsity, now people have to start really applying their minds.
Yes.
It's so difficult. And applying your mind is something that you have to do as you grow.
Yeah.
Know? Some people, like I believe that I need to be taught to apply my mind when it comes to school books.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not making excuses.
Yeah.
But I'm still trying. You know, I
Everyone's different. Everyone's different.
You know. So that's basically school. Then I've been at UNISA.
Yeah.
I did some call center training as well.
Mm-hmm.
I can say I've got a call center background.
Yeah.
That's where it all started for me.
Yeah.
Purely from finding myself and moving away from that introvert to that extrovert. You know, I was actually part of a group of people that were in a what can I call a CETA of sort that was organized by the city of Johannesburg.
Yeah.
So we had like a call center. Like, remember, I don't know if you remember Cornerstone. Back in the day.
No, I don't.
But you're still young, probably then. Yeah. Oh, but anyway.
It's my fault.
Such a fault. Yeah, there was this other thing that was big, like call center training. That produced some great people, in my opinion. You know, people whereby you'd work for Investec in the call center, and then you'd move your way up the ranks.
Yeah.
You know, some people actually got through life like that. You know, which was very like it was kind of a cool thing as well. You know, because opportunities were there and people took them up.
Yeah.
You know. So now I also moved to something similar to that. Met some of my, like literally one of my best mates as well there. I found myself the person that I wanted to be.
Yeah.
You know, I found that I can believe in myself.
Yeah, that's a very big thing.
No, definitely. Yeah. I started having confidence in myself and my abilities.
Yeah.
You know, people think when you have confidence, it spreads across the room.
Yeah.
You know, it doesn't work that way.
Doesn't it?
For me, it didn't. Let me talk about me.
Okay.
You know, you're going to be confident in for me, I was confident in my abilities with the task I had at hand.
Yeah.
Right. With the call center stuff.
I
knew what I was doing.
Yeah.
Right. So I prepared myself mentally. I moved from there to working for my uncle again.
Yeah.
With the trucking.
Yeah.
You know, okay, let me just introduce myself, then we'll get to all of that.
Yeah.
So, call centers, and then
we're already there. Just keep going.
Go with it. Okay, cool. Yeah. So I worked for my uncle a bit. Again, consider myself privileged because of that. You know, I worked for my uncle, but he never babied me.
Okay.
Fortunately for him, I was never there to be a baby.
Babied, okay.
You know, I
Thank
really,
God.
Yeah, definitely. Like, I really put myself out there. You know,
yeah.
I was doing the long hours, not because it's my uncle's business, but it's
my
work.
Yourself.
Yeah, my work ethic allowed me to do that.
Yeah.
You know, I was the one who was opening and closing the business. I was the first one in, last one out.
Yeah.
Like my uncle gave me an opportunity to run his trucking company, for a good 4 years.
Yeah.
At the helm of a fleet of 14. It was very decent at that point in time. We had my staff count. The biggest amount of staff that I've had is 38. This is drivers, including support staff, your mechanics, and security guards.
Yeah.
So that was the biggest achievement I feel like I had, working for my uncle at that point in time.
Yeah.
And him just allowing me to do, because all my uncle did was just wait for me to call. Can you please have money for A, B, and C?
Yeah.
But every other decision, every other thing that was happening in the business was on me.
Okay.
You know, the HR, who gets fired, who stays.
If you fired someone, how did that go?
Oh no, it was terrible the first time.
I can't wait to fire someone. No. Listen, you want to know why? I grew up watching wrestling. Right?
Yeah.
Vince McMahon, you're fired. And with Donald Trump with his show, The Apprentice, you're fired. Yeah. I think I should hire someone just so I can fire them. Actually,
can I tell you a story about what
and I'm not sadistic, guys.
No.
I'm not sadistic. It's just that childhood thing. I just want to get out the way. Not really fire someone.
Definitely. from my side, it's like I've learned that there's a lot of protecting yourself in business. It's something that I failed to actually do even ever since I started being in business. I failed. I'm not going to lie. I'm very honest about it. I failed.
Yeah, that's good. Everyone fails, yeah.
But I learned from it. I learned it last year, but now when I think back, I'm like, those things had to happen.
Yeah. Okay.
I was fortunate enough when I fired someone, my uncle was sitting next to me.
Yeah.
So he's used to it.
Oh, he's used to it.
Yeah, he was
like, another one.
Yeah, at that time, my uncle had been in business probably for about 15, almost 20 years. Let's put it. Close to 20 years. So he's the one businessman that I've known longevity from longevity perspective. Not someone who's prominent or whatever, but someone who's been in business for that long. So having to go through that, because now we're working with truck drivers. I learned from truck drivers that they have this need to want to be treated as human because they feel that they're being used as tools. So now they want that thing. So you get to engage with them. You're younger than them. They've been doing this for so long as truck drivers. They try to advise you, and so you build those certain relationships with them. Obviously, there are those that you won't really get along with, but there are those that and having to fire someone that you actually had no problems with and no quarrels. I know, man, this person is going through a lot. This is the person who was crying to you about, oh, my wife is suffering from this. The kids, I can't afford to do this. Now all of a sudden you find that they're stealing from you.
Oh, wow. Okay. So they were stealing from you.
That's where the firing came from. It came from people who were stealing diesel, and people that you trust.
That's not cheap, right?
Yeah. Even back then it wasn't cheap. Like back then a full tank of diesel in a 500-liter, 550 capacity tank was about 7K. This is back then, between 20.
Now it's probably 100K.
Hey, anything is possible. Hey? Because one of the things that I always tell people, if you want to go into trucking, it's a very capital intensive business. It's extremely capital intensive. It's not even about the diesel itself. We had a situation where we bought 4 new trucks. Right. 2 weeks later, 2 of them got hijacked.
Please tell me you had insurance.
No, we had insurance.
Okay, great.
Right, but at the same time, now you're gonna have to pay excess.
Oh yeah, that's true. There's access to it, and then there's the money you lose by not having those trucks.
Exactly. We found them. We found the one. The cops found the one. Then the other one, the guy who was my mentor at the time. I always consider people who I find in a working environment as mentor because I want to learn from them. It was a gentleman by the name of Mr. Ngozo. He was a very cool guy. Quite interesting fellow.
Interesting. What do you mean by interesting?
Interesting is that there's certain things. There's one thing that he used to say to me. He's like, Nathi Mabena, is it okay moving to other languages or?
Yeah, it's okay.
There's one thing that I don't do in life. I don't want to hurt people. Because I believe that if I hurt people, they're not like me. People can hurt me and I'll let it go. But you hurt someone, they're not like you. And I shared that with him. That's what I'm saying. It's very interesting because I didn't see him even as a father figure, but I saw him as someone who's like, he comes from wherever, now he was learning the business as a So where were we again?
You were saying you were learning something from him.
So I was learning. He was basically my mentor. I was learning that you have to be patient with people.
People, okay.
He used a lot of soft skills, especially dealing with the truck, because he was an elderly man. So he had to deal. Some of the drivers were his age, and most of them were younger than him. So now he had to deal with treating the ones who are younger than him with respect as colleagues, and the ones who are his age or older than him with also respect. There was no difference, but he just tried. But again, like myself, he was very lenient. That's one of the things I have to also I actually learned about myself. I really had to toughen up. I won't say it's my fault that they were stealing, but I could have done better to make sure that they didn't steal.
They didn't steal.
The whole thing of I guess I'm kind of naive. I see myself that you give someone an opportunity. Like myself, I got an opportunity wherever I did. I get there, I do whatever I have to do, move on with my life.
But not everyone's like you. Not everyone's good. Not everyone has a good heart.
It's not even about a good heart, but it's just those ethics and those principles that you have to. Like, why are you working? Are you working to steal or are you working to provide for your family? And that's the other thing with the love track. Very proud. Very, very proud. They love their families from very different backgrounds. Some of them are douche. You know, when I'll say douchebags.
Yeah.
Because you know when you hear how they interact with you.
Yeah.
Right, and then he gets a call from his wife.
Yeah.
Or his kids or something.
Yeah.
And then the tone changes. He becomes this other person.
Like good or bad?
Bad. Like that. You know that whole thing that you appreciate the father that you had.
Yeah.
Who didn't treat your mom in a certain way.
Yeah.
You know, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So, like that's what I'm saying. They're very proud. They're men. They want it's like their masculinity is not about being an alpha, but it's like I'm the alpha right now.
Yeah.
Not amongst the group.
Yeah.
I won't fight to be an alpha amongst the group, but I'm an alpha. I've got my own truck that I'm riding, and I'm working for my family.
Yeah.
You know, that's the kind of things that I learned from them, I suppose. But like I said, there's also the ugly side of them being also possibly human, if I can put them, not possible, but they were. I say possible because people do
what are they? Are they from Mars? Like what do they do?
Let me talk about this other one. He was a pest.
A pest.
But I really enjoyed him. I enjoyed working with him.
Yeah.
When I say, because he's the one who actually introduced me even to traditional healing. That's how I found out about it. You know, he used to go and buy, because he was literally anticipating his own calling.
What do you mean anticipating his own calling?
He's waiting for a call from the ancestors. So he was busy collecting beads, going to shops, buying stuff. I'm saying anticipating because he never had the calling. It's like he wanted it.
He wanted it, but it wasn't for him.
That's what I'm saying. He was anticipating it. So he got me into he got me interested into learning about that. You know, I found out that there is the good and bad. They teach you everything.
Yes.
It's
good and bad everywhere.
Yeah, no, definitely. It's in there.
Yeah.
They teach you everything when you go to the initiations, and then you have to choose. And he's like,
you have to choose.
Yeah, you choose yourself. And he's like, the choosing comes from a perspective that someone will. It's like there's a level of strength you have to show.
Yeah.
Amongst other fellow practitioners, if I can call them that. If one practitioner throws something at you, you have to make something. Sure 100 times back. 100
times back.
Yeah, kind of thing.
Jeez, like
that's how he described it to me. So it's one of those things that I was like, okay, it's very interesting because it's a power game. You know, when people do things, one of the things that I've also learned, people do things out of power. They're not doing things out of genuineness. Yeah. There's a lot of power games involved. There's a lot of I want to be seen. I need this. I have to. You know, there's a lot of I involved. Yeah. You know, I think it's also resonates with our current politics. I was listening to the radio this morning. You know, the whole thing with the Helen Joseph Hospital. Apparently the CEO is bad, you know.
Bad how?
Like she's rude and like she wasn't willing to talk to. She basically the MMC for Health for the city of Johannesburg came through to our offices to discuss how can you make things better. Yeah. So she was just not willing to talk because obviously these MMC people, these guys, they always send their people first. Yeah. The people that were sent, she refused to talk to them or give them an order. When the MMC finally got there, same thing. She was very rude.
Very abrasive.
Again, it comes to that whole thing of that power. Yeah. You know, I used to watch a friend of mine introduced me to House of Cards.
Oh, Mr. Frank Underwood. Frank Underwood. I loved it.
One of the reasons why I left working.
You left working?
Like I left working for and started my own business because of the approach that Frank had. You know, there's a line where he says, "Power lurks in the shadows." In one of his monologues. Yeah. You know, and you see these things
in the shadows.
Yeah, kind of thing. And you see these things that some people are just puppets, and they know that they are puppets. Hence, they have to now take it on those that
who are not puppets.
Exactly. Or who are below them.
Who are below them. Yeah. Okay. So sort of the thing was like, okay, I'm getting all this stress from someone else who's above. Exactly. I can't make my own decisions. I don't have my own agency. That sense of significance has been taken away from me. Exactly. So how is it that I can be significant? Is take it out on someone else. It's the pyramid scheme of corporate. I just say the corporate is a pyramid scheme, but
no, look, it
happens in corporate.
It's not even a pyramid of scheme of corporate, but it's how people. I think people are naturally inclined to behave that way. It's like it's that temptation. When God talks about temptation in the Bible, He was talking about stuff like that. You know, that beware of temptation, A, B, C, D, whatever. It's not really about the flesh, but that ability to, even though you're facing difficulties, get what you need to get done. Yeah. Don't put other people through hell. Because basically, in a nutshell, that lady was saying that, no, you work for the mayor, or you in the mayoral office, I work for government.
Yeah.
Now, what does it...
What's the difference? What's the difference between
Again, these are some of the things that I learned as well. There's a lot of decentralization in our government. If I call it government systems. Now you've got the government, which owns like in what I do now, owns the hospitals, right? And then you've got your metros, that don't own the hospitals. Maybe they might own clinics or some kind of service, but the main hospitals are owned by government. So whatever hierarchy is there, it's different. The mayor, if ever there's some kind of intervention the mayor has to do in a hospital, they'll have to go through maybe the MEC for health. They can't just go directly to the Minister of Health. It doesn't allow. They're two totally different entities. So even if the mayor wanted to talk to the Minister of Health, he won't get that meeting. They'll only probably most likely the closest colleague will be the CEO first, who has to make that meeting happen with the MEC. Other than that, because the MEC is the boss to the hospital. It's like there's a lot of appointments involved. You know, it's
is that why nothing gets done fast?
In a nutshell, and the element of democracy. Because people have an option to do it or not.
What?
That's the thing.
People have an option to do their job or not.
People. That's
how
they
should have the option to be paid or not.
Again, it's like who's monitoring it. You know, this week people were talking about what happened with Thomas Sankara. That guy got thingy. He's getting a life sentence. The one who betrayed Thomas Sankara. I read. I don't know whether it's a what do they call them? Not a biography, but when someone's written something about you,
it's a biography. Autobiography is when you write when you write your own story. If I write about you, it's called a biography.
Yes, exactly. Biography. So, I learned a bit about Thomas Sankara. I like the person that he was. You know, people. The argument was that no, but he also committed a coup. Right now, it's a coup. In my opinion, my grandmother used to say, this coup was a good coup. Because it was for the betterness of the country. You see. Now moving back to my point of democracy. Democracy allows people to have options, I suppose. You know.
But in terms of your job, I don't think you should have an option to do your job or not.
That's the thing. Because also democracy involves a lot of we have to consult. So people end up they create or they make spaces or they commodify spaces. Right? Let me use a good example. Getting your license. It's become so commodified. You know, that's why even systems now, whenever they try to improve systems, they don't work because now people are realizing, no, we're not going to be able to eat here. So what do? We stop the systems. Those systems aren't stopped by machines that are always offline. It's people that are stopping them. Home Affairs, same thing. People commodify things. They want a way. It's like even the most lowest ranked person will want something from you.
Of course.
You know, you go anyway. And these things are build-ups, you know. And it's because I also believe that, again, it's why I say it's democracy. Because since 1990, the dawn of democracy came with this. You know, it came with that. Because people had options to do certain things. People had options, no, Mina, this is my tea time. And test with, okay, if I say it's tea time,
then it's tea time. You can't do anything.
It's my democratic right. You see, that's why I link it to that. It's like, you know, in Europe, people always talk, like now with the war, there's a lot of democracy, democracy. But because things are so well oiled, people don't get an opportunity to find themselves to commodify things. They don't find themselves in a situation whereby the bus driver will say to you, no, instead of paying cash, let me give you a ticket. The one that I've made on the side. Like a lowly bus driver, go to Germany. The bus drivers pick up school kids, taking them to football practices. You know, no one's charging anyone. There's none of that funny stuff. You know, but here, because like I said, that's
elephant tax.
But because people find themselves always in that position of having options. You know, if I can say, hey, now the system is slow, we all know we're using Windows. In most government facilities, we know we have problems, but no one's going to really try and make the efforts. And it becomes such a culture.
Yeah,
and
culture
that's
of
what
mediocrity.
That's why personally I do blame democracy for that, because I feel like we're at a stage whereby we need to get things done, and you can't get things done because people have democratic rights.
Yeah. Also, what are you proposing? That we take people's rights away?
I don't propose we take people's rights away. I propose that we don't give people options.
Yeah. Okay.
It's like, if ever someone from, even now, from home, the only time someone from Home Affairs will get fired is if they get caught. I don't know if you've noticed that.
If they get caught?
If they get caught, then they get fired.
Okay.
Like, they get caught for doing something wrong.
Okay.
But no one will get fired for not delaying the queue. No one will get fired for shouting at civilians coming in. Because again, like, no, I'm frustrated. The other thing is, I feel like I've also learned that we've taken psychology so lightly, whereby instead of embracing it and actually investing in it, we've just shoved it down as just another discipline. Imagine if ever people who worked at Home Affairs, for example, had someone to talk to after a long day's shift. Because there are people who are really there, who want to be there.
Who want to be helpful.
It's so hurtful that you see a 12-year-old coming in with a baby.
Yeah.
As much as it becomes a norm.
That's a 12-year-old's kid.
Yeah. Damn. She's there to register a child. Some people don't register the kids. I know some, like I said, in my environment, some hospitals, they do have offices to register kids, but some probably don't. So there are certain traumas, if I can put, I'll use the word trauma a lot.
Yeah.
Because it's a word that's flying around as well.
Yeah. I get you.
There are certain traumas that people can't deal with, because there are also people as well that worked at Home Affairs. You don't just get born with saying, when I grow up, I'm going to work at Home Affairs, I'm going to play Candy Crush.
Yeah.
It doesn't work that way. There's a level of absence when you can't empathize with people. You see people are sitting there, people are walking from, you're like, no, I'm going. This lady's like, no, I've walked all the way from 20 kilometers from here. No, we access exen. We exen. That carelessness.
No, that's
again.
No, that's not cool. I wouldn't be able to do that, knowing full well that someone had put in so much effort and time. Much effort and time, and really broke and stretched themselves to get help from you, who is your job to help them. And now you're saying, no, it's 5 o'clock in your hump.
Hey, bro, like. Go to these offices. Go to Pretoria.
I don't want to.
I think we're not talking or smashing government here. We're just talking about people behavior. I think that's
it's people behavior.
When I lived in Cape Town, I was still claiming
Cape Town,
I stayed there 6 months.
It's a different country. Cape Town's not South Africa.
It's 6 months that I can say definitely for sure.
Yeah.
I'd never move to Cape Town permanently.
Why?
There's just something about you going to work. Too slow? I don't believe there's any way that's slow or fast. It just depends on what you're doing.
Okay. Explain.
Yeah. When I say that, first let's talk about the geography of Cape Town.
Okay.
Literally, Cape Town has the N2.
Yeah.
It has the N1.
Yeah.
And then I think it's the M5.
Yeah.
Those are all roads that lead out of the city.
Yeah.
Now, a modern day city, why do you think there's always traffic in Cape Town? The traffic is terrible.
Is the traffic terrible?
You've never experienced it.
I've never experienced. I've been to Cape Town. I haven't experienced the traffic of Cape Town.
It's terrible because of that. Because it's so, like, they're keeping it the way that it is to make it's like we're trying to make sure that maybe it's a safety thing. I don't know, but that's how it is. Like, it's just 3 main roads that lead out of the city. Everything else is a small Nyana road, but you're gonna have to get back to that freeway.
Anyway,
so it's Cape Town. They're efficient in many things, but also the traffic was bad. I'll never forget those days.
So you say you'll never move to Cape Town full time simply because that traffic murdered you?
No, even besides the traffic, I'm not gonna get into the whole racism thing because I've really genuinely made some really good people, white and black, colored, etc. But again, it's one of those things that I'd never move there permanently because of it. It sucks to drive from. I lived in the West Coast, right?
Yeah.
It's 10 on a Monday,
Mm-hmm.
right? People are abseiling there. People are surfing there. You're going to work.
Yeah.
Right? One would say, why would I be jealous of that? I'm not jealous of it, but it's like, what are we doing? Like, I'm going to work. Like, people, some of us are going to work. Some people are just,
I see. Well, so the environment that you experienced, was that more of leisure, not
definitely.
not of work?
I won't lie. I really experienced the comforts that make white people specifically want to stay in Cape Town.
Yeah.
I lived in that area. I lived in an area whereby,
which area of Cape Town was it?
I was living in the west, in Blouberg.
I've heard of Blouberg. Yeah,
it's just up the western coast of Cape Town.
Yeah.
Which are about 18 km from town.
Mm-hmm.
I lived in that area where, as I said, it's predominantly white. It was very chilled. It was safe. That's a nice thing about Cape Town.
Yeah,
safe. My cousin says everyone minds their own business in Cape Town.
Is it? Yeah. Everyone gangas where they're supposed to ganga.
Exactly.
They don't take it to Camps Bay.
Yeah, no, definitely. It's like, and security is there. Everything's there. I appreciate some of the things they do even with the military police. They like how active they. I actually got my phone taken away from me, confiscated.
Why?
I was on the phone and I jumped the stop sign.
Okay.
Yeah, so they confiscated my phone.
They confiscated your phone. Did you get it back?
I had to pay 2.3.
Yes, like
it was such a stupid Nokia phone. Like, it was one of those Nokia N82s or whatever. You
could have bought 4 of those phones for the same.
But it belonged to my mom, so I had it with me. So it was like sentiment more than anything.
Okay.
So, but as I say, they take their stuff seriously.
Yeah.
I won't say all their services, but most of the services that I used that side were quite good. The UIFs, I claimed UIF that side. Again, because that's one of the reasons I don't like it. Because there's places where you can get good service, and then there's places where you won't get good service.
Yeah.
When I went to the UIF offices in Thingy, excuse me, what's that place? Is it Pero? Yeah, it's Pero. I think it's Pero.
Yeah.
Near UNISA. Was it Pero? Yeah, there was a Home Affairs there. Not a Home Affairs, a Labor department there. The service, it was packed. The service was crap. And then there was the Labor department in town. I literally left a packed Labor department. And when I got there, I was like number 3 in the queue. I'm like, okay.
Oh, wow.
For me, those disparities are the ones that make me not want to live in Cape Town. It doesn't sit well with me. We all love the good stuff. We all want the nice life. But it doesn't sit well with me that, okay, I can get away with it because I'm mobile.
Yeah.
I can just drive to town.
Yeah. Those people can't.
Yeah, those people can't.
Yeah, but like, I think...
And it's not my fault as well.
It's not
But it's just
fault.
Purely me and the person that I am.
It's the values that you hold.
Yeah.
Well, one thing that's very apparent is that I think South Africa is the most, if not one of the most unequal societies in the world.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
The rich are rich in this country. And the poor are dirt poor.
I know they're dirt poor.
Yeah, and even by global standards, we're not really doing. The rich in this country are not doing that well in terms of the global context.
Yeah, they're not.
Yeah, because to be in the top 1% of this country, this is how much you need to make a year. It's around 2.5 million rand a year. That's your 1%. Yeah. I'm not saying that's chump change, but like in comparison to like those in Europe and those in America. Those are the broke people. Like if you're richer, you're broke there.
It's like what I was saying when they talking about democracy in because the scale between the rich and the poor is also so far.
Yeah.
If you're gonna be rich in Europe, you're gonna be at tens millions euros or whatever.
Yeah.
Right, and that's far from that guy down there. But they can still manage to live. But they know that they can't really reach there.
Yeah.
But what's 2.5 million? Let's be honest. I don't have it in my account, but with what I've spent with the money that I've made over the years,
you can 2.5 million. I can finish.
Like
I can finish
that's
that
what I'm
in
saying, that
30 minutes. Give me 30 minutes. I'll finish it for you.
We've got so many opportunities to reach the top.
Yeah.
But because it's like there's a hindrance.
Yeah. What's that hindrance? What do you think is holding us back?
Unfortunately, I have to say, someone agree. Race does hold us back.
Race how?
Well, the obvious race that white people and black,
the melanin, yeah.
I told this other friend of mine, I'm like, one of the reasons why companies in Wall Street get scammed is because they do their due diligence with the thing. They use what's this? They look at skin color as a measure of due diligence.
Oh, is it that? Which is not a very,
because you go there and you're on point, but because you're black, especially like in America, you won't get the opportunity. But like with that lady who does what's that thing on Netflix? The one who did some medical thing, Elizabeth.
Oh yes, Elizabeth. Was her name Elizabeth Taylor? I can't remember her full name. She ran Theranos.
Yes,
just that was the biggest scam of all time. How was she worth $9 billion and did nothing?
The due diligence done was on her skin color. Nothing else.
Yeah.
If it was anyone else, they wouldn't have gotten away with it.
No, definitely not.
I won't even talk about the fact that she's female or whatever.
No.
Because I'm a strong believer that females have to actually get more opportunities. It's that time.
Yes, I agree.
I'm really a strong believer.
Yes, my wife must get all the opportunities. I want to sit and do nothing. Thank you.
This year, I was telling my younger sister, I'm like, one thing that I really pray for is that women just have more money than men.
Yeah,
let them have more money.
Please.
Let them experice that power.
So I consider her.
Yeah. So
you want me to wash your clothes?
Let's not take it there, because now they're gonna start thinking, no, why should he say? But let's just let them have it.
Yeah.
Let them experience how it feels.
Yeah. And talking about wholesale, not just a few.
No.
All of them. Yeah.
Let them not have to go to a club and basically flirt with someone in order to get a drink. Let them take out their money out of their wallet and spend it.
Yeah.
Not because I want them to spend, but let them experience that.
Yeah.
Let them go into corporate and not have to sleep with someone in order so that they can make money. Let them not be put in those positions that will make them move away from their values and their morals and their ethics.
Yeah.
Because they're very like they're victims of that. Everywhere you go, there isn't there's only one that I heard actually. Is it Anele? Yeah, I heard her on one of the podcasts.
Yeah.
The DJ. She said she's never actually experienced that kind of her sexual harassment in the workplace.
She's very fortunate.
But whenever a woman is I'm sure with some of the females that you've actually interviewed, if it did get to that, maybe they would have mentioned that. There was that guy who. And it's usually men who coerce.
Yeah. I mean, they didn't say it on the show, but it was offline. It was an offline discussion.
No, definitely, it's very true. And it sucks because now when I think, when you look at how women do well, like when they're struggling. When I say do well, like they can find themselves living here in Jersey on their own, supporting a full-fledged village, somewhere.
Yeah,
Mpumalanga, Limpopo, wherever, and then whenever that happens, but they still manage to flourish somehow. Now imagine if they had all the opportunities, all the money, how great it would be.
Yeah,
that's why I'm definitely pro a female president.
Yeah,
purely for a signal perspective.
Yeah,
we might not have the right candidates right now. Maybe I don't know. I'm not into politics.
Yeah,
but whatever candidates are there might not be the right ones.
Yeah,
but definitely it would be such a nice example to have.
Yeah.
It would be, I love the likes of Bonang because they're doing things that guys, they're going into spaces where most guys who are influencers and we're doing that. But I love those characters. I love that. What's that girl's name?
Rihanna.
Not girl. No, not Rihanna. South African. Not girl. The lady who did Destiny as well.
Who created Destiny magazine?
Destiny.
I don't know her name.
Most women who are my age, that's why I dated a girl at a point in time. She loved Ndalo Media. Ndalo Media is the company that came with Destiny, the owner of that company.
Yeah.
And I was so blown away that this lady basically created a cult. No, let me not call it a cult.
Yeah, it's fine.
Let's use for lack of a better word, a cult of women who believe in themselves.
That's good. Yeah.
Whether they like it or not, I can tell you now, 80% of women who are successful now will always somehow mention Destiny magazine and that lady.
Yeah.
Because she broke out into a space of media.
Yeah.
Male dominated, black, stuff like that. And that's why I'm saying that a female president will do that for us. The stint that Pumzile thing, was it Pumzile? There was a lady called Pumzile, but she went to the UN. She was an ambassador at a point. She had a stint It didn't make sense.
Yeah.
You know, nobody really believed it. I think also Nkosazana Zuma also had a stint as well. You know, it was like, it was literally a drop in the ocean.
Yeah.
You know, and those things don't count. But when we actually have a female president, I feel like women will start even they don't take themselves seriously sometimes. Not all of them. I just believe that way. And it's not because I'll talk about my mother. Right? My mother was someone who had a very good sense of humor, and she was funny.
Yeah.
You know. But she always thought, let me rather concentrate on family. Let me not go for other aspirations. Let me not do other things.
Yeah.
You know? Let me rather concentrate on, because like I feel like she didn't take herself seriously.
Yeah.
In that sense that she knows what she can do, you know, but she's like, let me just rather do this, you know, kind of thing. And it wasn't a bad thing. That's who she is. But it's also because of how she grew up. You know, it's also because of they weren't females. Like my mother actually once we were listening to Celeste Tuli, you know, she's like, "How? Losis Lona, and I'm like, yeah, she's a comedian.
Yeah, she's very funny.
You know, and those are things that make them where they are, you know. But once we break that vault, when we've got a female president who's going to have those family meetings with us, you know, who's going to somewhat mentor indirectly an 8-year-old girl who's like standing there, you know, in a position of power.
That sends a message to her that I can do that, you know.
Psychologically, it does that. You know, like I can reach that. We are who we are because of we've seen black men achieve certain things.
Yes.
You know,
Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, Barack Obama.
Let's not even go further. But we've seen our immediate
families. Yeah.
You know, I've seen with my uncle. Like he's basically a few. Well, in my family, I think there's about 5 of us who are in business on my mom's side of the family. But you know, he was the pioneer for that.
Yeah.
You know, we've met in that. He's a guy in the IPB space, which is something that I've been introduced into recently. I told you know,
ching ching.
That's another story. You better have a question for that.
I do.
I'll tell you. Like, limitations. You know, like, okay, but there's so many people. There's Patrice Mutsipe. We can't not. Like you'd be lying if in any way, in any space where you're not inspired as a young black man or as a black man to think, oh, Patrice.
Like he single-handedly ruined the PSL.
Wait, let's not get into that. I'm a Swallows fan, so now I inherited it.
Oh, okay.
My dad was a Swallows fan.
Okay,
my dad was a Swallows fan.
That's okay.
So it's one of those things whereby it's a family thing, not a fan, but it's me and his thing. He used to go with me to games. Again, those privileges. You know, people don't know that. Even people come from good families, but they've never actually went to a game with their dad.
Yeah.
You know, they I remember me and my younger brother, we used to play baseball. Well, Mango, we played first.
Yeah.
You know, you get to a Sunday where it's definitely a Sunday is a church day for black families.
100%.
Now, my dad would drop Smanga off to go play his game, or takes to go play his game in Kempton Park, or wherever in the East End where they were playing.
Yeah.
And then my dad would go to church.
Yeah.
But if it wasn't a Sunday, and my dad wasn't doing any church-related things, my dad loved church.
Yeah, we know.
He was a cousin of mine said if our church was an organization or a corporate,
he'd be CEO.
Yeah, my dad would be CEO or board of directors or something. Like
to be,
if it was like that's how much he invested into it. And the nice thing that I learned from is that he did what he loved.
Yeah,
you know. When my dad, when I started speaking about business to my dad, sorry, I'm diverting so much.
No, it's fine. Go on.
When I started talking about business to my dad, when I got interested in business, this is like after high school and stuff like that. My dad's like, hey, you know, Nathi, if you wanna go do business, go. Nah, I never did business because people don't pay.
Oh, that was a limited.
That was his experience.
His experience.
That people don't pay.
Yeah, people don't
and
pay.
Then
that's true.
He once even told me a story that he was actually called to work. I don't know whether to work with the guys for one of the big couriers right now.
Yeah.
It started in the late 90s. He was working for Ace Express at the time. So his direct manager said, come, let's go work. You know, I'm taking you, going to work. He refused because of his belief that people don't pay in business. Now, my thinking as the person that I am, I'm like, my dad was supposed to be a PE part. This guy, he let us suffer all these years because he's scared you don't pay. You know,
I mean, could be rich.
Exactly. You know, and I feel like maybe that's what they wanted to do with him.
Yeah.
Use him as that token black.
Yeah.
But because of his principles of, hey, people won't pay, or I don't want to have to fight with people for my money, you know, stuff like that. So it always resonates.
I should have just taken that.
But that's the thing now. Here's the tricky part. I was having a conversation again with my younger sister that he did that knowing as well that he loved what he does at church. I think also came the part, Yoguti, if I go into this, I won't have my weekends. I won't have those days where I have to go to church meetings. Now that means I have to be at work and refuse what I love to do.
Yeah.
Because my dad genuinely did what he did at church.
Yeah.
It wasn't like literally everything about church. And, you know, he was such a good leader as well at church. You know, I learned a lot of leadership skills from him.
Yeah.
You know, and participating in church, you know. But, you know, it was one of those things where you're like, oh, okay, let me just do what I do. And as I said, he excelled in it. You know, it might not show to the whole world, but it excelled. Even in death, it showed.
Yeah.
You know, it showed how people were responding
to the work he did.
Exactly. You know, how he had touched them and stuff. And it felt good as well to know that he hadn't done it for nothing. You know, because I'm a staunch believer, you don't do anything for free.
No.
No one does anything for free.
Like the Joker said, if you're good at something, you never do it for free.
Hey, we watched the Batman movie.
Of course.
Yeah, no.
Robert Pattinson did a good job playing me. He did a good job.
No, definitely.
He did a good job.
Are we allowed to talk about Batman?
Of course, you're allowed to. Yeah. I took. Come on.
Yeah. Like I've got a criticism about the movie.
What's wrong with the Batman movie?
It's not a comic book movie. I don't think it represents the comic books very well. He's such a police officer. He's such an investigative Batman.
Yeah.
You know.
But he's known as a world's greatest detective, if you think about it.
Fair enough. But from a comic book perspective, there was so much realism with that one. Like, if anyone, I wouldn't be surprised if a group of people decided, you know what, we're going to start being vigilantes because we saw the Batman, because they could relate to it. It was so real.
Yeah.
But if it's a comic book, nobody's going to stand up and say, no, I'm going to build a hammer and I'm going to be Thor. Or I'm going to inject my, because it's a comic, you know.
Yeah, no, I get you. Because, I mean, I think that's the angle Matt Reeves was going for.
Fair enough. Matt Reeves is a great guy.
Yeah.
Shout out to him for that movie.
Shout out Matt Reeves. It was a great movie.
David, great movie.
Yeah.
But again, I'll say it. He needs to do a better with the next one. Can they please at least let the cape cover him? Like the cape was up to here, up to his shoulders.
Yeah, didn't cover him fully. Yeah.
And you know the thing is that people don't understand us who follow the culture, that pop culture.
Yeah.
They think
No, it's more than
there's
that.
politics involved.
Yeah, Joe. Misrepresent our characters.
You know,
it's a big problem.
So and first Comic Con I went to was in 2019. Right, I love the culture, but all these things came late in my life obviously because finance and stuff. But Comic Con's coming back again, so I'm planning on going this year as well.
Okay, good. Yeah. Did you dress up last time?
No. What I want to dress up as, in all honesty, I want to create a Groot outfit and have like a little voice thing and just walk around saying, I am Groot. That's it.
I am Groot.
So a friend of mine said no, man, because the friend of mine that I usually go to Comic Con, he's like, rather go for a Drax. I'm like, go Drax on Mkaba. Nah, bro. So hence I started going to gym. Maybe I'll do your Drax. You know?
Drax. No, I'd want to go as the Red Hood.
Seriously?
Yeah, I'd want to go as the Red Hood. You know, break out of character, but I want to go as the Red Hood. I just like his entire look, like the leather jacket and then the boots, and then like he's got the knife here and that little red helmet over there. Yeah. That's bad.
Seriously.
That's bad. Yeah.
Nah, I just want to do something light, something that people can look at and laugh at.
Yeah.
You know, build little stilts, maybe about a meter high. Start growing those little branches and what, just create my Groot outfit.
Yeah.
I think that would do very well for me.
Yeah, wow.
And surprisingly, you know, when it comes to comic books, I'm always a fan of the guys, the brute force guys. I love the Hulk. I've always been a fan of that. He's brute force.
Hulk smash.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
It's something that I grew up as a tiny kid.
Yeah. Oh, so that's why you.
Yeah. So I want that brute force. Even now, like most of my friends, even in high school, they knew I was very small, but I had that strength. You know, even the other day it was my friend's birthday party. So I was so happy for him. I just picked him up. You know, my friends were all shocked. Like, hey, dude, you still got that strength, you know. So I'm about that brute force, you know. And again, at least with the Hulk, you know, it's like, okay, fine, it's not that great, but he's that, you know. And he's got this Bruce Banner, but then he's got the Hulk,
you
know. And I can relate to that, you know. Like, I feel like when I show my strength, that's when
we become the Hulk.
Yeah, exactly. You know,
I think people who don't get why we relate to comic book characters are missing a very, very important part of psychology. Like, think about it this way: you said that a female president would be very good for
definitely.
All the girls coming up because they've got something to look at, something that they can relate to say, okay. If she can do it, then so can I.
Exactly.
You've talked about Abu Petrus Mutsepe, and you talk about the likes of your father. It's what you see is what you can be. You can't be something you've never seen before, or even be exposed to. I'm sure you've heard stories of people who don't make a lot of money at all. Then they go to a conference overseas, or they go to a different environment, and then now they get all this exposure. Like, they've people that go to like all these shows like New York or Las Vegas or all these different places for what they want to do. They come back as like, oh, this is all possible. They come back and then their life is elevated to the next level.
Oh, definitely.
Comic book characters also do that for kids, because they can be like, oh wow, Superman. He's so big and strong. I can see myself as Superman. Exactly. I can do everything. Batman. I can become Batman because I can go through a bad experience and turn it into a good thing. Exactly. I can be Groot. I don't know what you see in Groot, but I can be Groot. So what the comic book characters do gives something for us to imagine, and it takes us away from. It's a sort of like escapism from reality, so we can sort of like reshape it. That's the way I see the importance of video games and comic book characters and movie characters,
all sorts of pop culture.
You
know, the other thing, just to point out that I can add with regards to the Groot. I like Groot as a character because he's the second man.
The second man? What do you mean?
Second man is Rocket. He's the main man.
Oh yeah, Rocket.
He's second man.
The talking mouse. I'm joking.
Yeah, he's a raccoon.
I know he's a raccoon.
What they call him? Then he got upset. They call him Vermin.
Vermin. There we go.
He's Vermin. So, what you call? There's this thing that I've picked up about myself. I don't mind. I've learned that I'm okay with being the guy behind the man.
Yeah.
Because I'm a person who wants to build people. I'm a person who wants to empower.
You're a big supporter. That's
you
your
see.
thing. Yeah.
Big supporter.
Yeah.
You know, like I want people to succeed, and I believe when people succeed, when people succeed, definitely for sure, I'll definitely succeed.
Yeah.
You know, it's not a narcissist of I'm using people to get up there, but it genuinely makes me happy to see people succeed.
Yeah. So that there's a wealth type. That's called a supporter. There are 8 different wealth types. And that if you specialize in them, that's how you make the most money. That's how you build wealth. There's a person who is a creator, someone who creates something from scratch. Thomas A. Edison. Some people say he stole, but
he stole from. I believe it. He stole from Tulsa.
No, he didn't.
Thomas Edison is a sham. That's my opinion. I've read what I've read.
Nikola Tesla.
Before you go on, but in history, most of the greatest people
stole.
Unfortunately,
good artists copy, great artists steal.
Oh, there we go.
That was not me. That was Steve Jobs. That's Steve Jobs. So if Steve Jobs had to steal, who am I?
and that's the thing. Yeah, like somehow. Something's gonna come from somewhere either way.
Yeah, of course.
Sure. It's just you're always the fortunate one to be the face of it.
Yeah.
So you're saying so
creator, and then there's the modifier, someone who takes something that exists and then modifies it. Who's this? Henry Ford.
Yeah.
Cars were already there. He just made it better. Then there is the trader, the person who looks at stocks and analytics and data and says, okay, I'm gonna enter this position, exit here. Who's the greatest trader of all time is Jeff Bezos' ex-wife. She entered here, exited here. She gave away billions, and she's still one of the richest women.
She knew where the pips were. She knew exactly where the pips were.
She bought the dip. That's what she did.
She did.
And then there's the star. There's people who make money off of their personality. That's Oprah. That's Trevor Noah. That's Black Coffee, the Grammy Award.
Shout out to him, man.
Shout out to him. Shout out to him. I'm still coming for that back-to-back set. How dare he give me a challenge like that? How dare he?
Hey, bro. I heard his speech and he said, a small artist. And I'm like, I know he's not trying to be modest. That was just someone who said, no, don't say you're great.
Just say small.
And I was like, I was taken aback. Let's say genuinely he did mean that, or he sees himself as small.
Yeah.
Does that man know the aura he carries?
No, I don't think he does. Maybe he does. We don't know.
The first time I saw Black Coffee play was in Richards Bay.
Yeah.
The crowd went wild.
Yeah.
Fresh was there. Who else was there? Chili M was there. What's that chick? Desmond Tutu's daughter, a granddaughter as well. Was it Desmond Tutu's?
I don't know.
The rapper. Okay, I'll remember the name. But when Black Coffee came, man, and that's what I'm saying. The aura he carries, because when after he had done his set, he bowed to the people.
Yeah.
And I'm like, he could have just walked off stage, but he decides to bow. It's like there's a level of gratitude. Now he goes and gets a Grammy and it says, as a small artist.
Yeah.
For me, it was cringe-worthy, but at the same time...
Why was it cringe-worthy?
It was cringe because I don't believe him to be that small. Because I've met the guy and, like,
yeah.
His aura. And the thing is, he's such a dude.
Yeah.
But again... the humility that man carries, when you see someone from a perspective and then you hear all these stories in the media and whatnot.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, sure. We don't know what happened, but get to meet the man, I promise you.
Yeah, it's a different story.
The people write on Twitter, hey, someone wrote, I remember as well, on Twitter, I saw it on WhatsApp, someone wrote that even if he won the Grammy, I'll never forget what he did. That he couldn't pay the lights for his kids.
Oh my God!
And I'm like thinking to myself, if that guy would stand next to you, I'm not vouching for him, but if that man possesses such a great aura about him.
It does. People always attack what they don't understand.
Yeah, no, definitely, and it's like one of those things that you have to get to a point where you actually meet the guy.
Yeah, exactly.
Just find yourself, even if you're like 30 centimeters away from him, you'll feel it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
the guy's got a very strong mind.
He's
got a strong. And when first time I met him, when was it? We did this. Just moved into a Black Coffee segment now.
Yeah, I know. Let's go. That guy deserves it.
The first time I met Black Coffee I was at Rhodes.
Oh yeah.
2011, 2010. He came to play.
Yeah.
And then I was in a booth with him, Fresh. I can't remember. I think. I'm a Grootman.
Yeah.
I think Milkshake was Milkshake there?
Probably was. Milkshake was big back then, especially in the university scene.
Yeah, it was like massive. Huge, yeah. So they were all there. And then I was like, for me, I didn't know who this guy was, but he just carried himself. It was just quiet. He came there to do his work, greet the people, whatever. Okay, cool. And then Fresh was like saying, this guy looks like Tam. If you just look at him, he looks like him. And then Nat was like, carried on with his life. That's the first time I met. I didn't know he was that big. Then after 2000, he started elevating. Superman came out, and the first time I really, really saw him perform was when he was in Zone 6. He lit that place on fire. That place was on fire. And he had a live band playing as well. And, he was just killing it. I just lost my mind over his talent, because I didn't know him personally, but his talent was amazing.
Those years was when he was still on the come up.
Yeah.
The first time I heard about Black Coffee was 2000. I was working at Virgin Mobile.
Yeah.
There was this other friend of mine, Kabelo. I wonder who he is. Kabelo was a boy from Pretoria.
Yeah.
Pretoria kids were always the cool kids.
Yeah.
Kabelo used to be color blocking and whatnot.
Yeah.
All these modern trends that are existing, he used to do them back then, 2009, 2010. He used to tell us about this guy, man. He takes an LP and puts it under the one armpit, then he rubs it with his one hand. And he DJs with one hand. I remember when he plays, you forget who is disrespecting you by DJing with one hand.
Yeah.
Obviously, I didn't know him at the time. I didn't know what happened to him until I found out he was in an accident.
Yeah.
But I was like, this guy's disrespectful. Why is disrespecting the crowd, But he's like, when he gets on a set, man.
He plays circles around you, bro.
And at that time, he was playing I think Deep House.
Deep House, yeah.
They called him Malume Kofi.
Malume Kofi.
The guys in Pretoria know him. They love
him
him
very well.
They know him. They know him very well. You know, there was is it Solistic there in Brooklyn?
Yeah.
It's Solistic. No, not Solistic. That's the one. That's his
record label. Yeah.
But now there's another company that he used to work with back then. Oh man, my cousin he used to also play the DJ Sash. Yeah. Shout out to him. It's his birthday today.
Oh, okay, happy birthday, DJ Sash. Yeah.
So he was DJ Sash back then. Anyway.
Yeah.
So he's the one who introduced me. So I wasn't a fan of house music. I was just a hip hop head back then. Got into deep house, man. Oh man, those guys. Back then, you know, like before the electro scene, or before people started taking white people house music seriously, you know, and stuff like that. Because we used to hear it on 5FM, we used to hear it on wherever, you know. But those guys know they're doing wonderful things. Like, you don't doubt, especially if like you've seen stuff like that. You don't doubt where the guy is right now.
Yeah, definitely.
You know, he's had his challenges.
You know, definitely. I haven't had conversations with him one-on-one. When he's ready, I could get him to come to the show.
It's all about asking. You'll never know.
No. For us, like he says, like, so when are we go? So I approached him. It's like, yeah, sure, when. Now I'm like, hey, this is Black Coffee, bro. I can't just have him just in JJ. I was like, I need to make sure all my stuff's right first. I'm sorry. I just okay. I became like a slave, and he was a master. Yes, sir. I can't ever.
Yes, master.
Yes. No, but now I'm just gonna ask him to come through because he's open to helping people and
man, definitely. Yeah. Oh man, yeah, it's gonna do great, man.
Him and Trevor. No, those are two people that I need to get them on the show.
No, definitely. You know what's that guy's name? I forgot him. God, they had a popular show, Gent. But anyway, he said something that, you know, between yourself and someone great, there's basically 6 people.
Yeah, six degrees of separation.
Yeah. He didn't put that way.
Yeah,
that's the advanced one.
Yeah,
he just put like 6 people. And whenever you can think about it, whenever I think of myself, like now when you're talking about Black Coffee, if I thought the only way I'd have that opportunity to have an interview with Black Coffee, I've got James, that's one.
Yeah.
Then there's 5 other people to get through before I get to Black Coffee.
Yeah.
You know, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things that the world becomes a lot smaller.
Yeah, because the world is very small, especially with all the internet that's out there. You'd be so surprised at how many people you can reach and how many people that you can build connections with.
Definitely.
Sorry. I was going to say, like, Coffee built his career well over 2 decades.
No, definitely.
He spent a long time doing it.
He put in his 10,000 hours.
Yeah, far more than that. Far more than that.
From sleeping in dorms, no zakes, you know, sharing, you know, I can imagine when he was gigging, traveling in public transport and stuff like that. You know, it's not the ideal situation for when you think, this is how a guy starts.
Yeah.
You know, but that's where he started.
Yeah, that's where he started. Yeah.
And it's really inspiring. It really does inspire.
Yeah, you know, immensely inspiring.
You know, when you talk about the size of the world as well, I think of my younger sister as a teacher. So I told her, you know, one of the main reasons why kids these days are the way they are in schools and stuff. You guys might take it as disrespect. No, this guy has you on Instagram.
Yeah.
This guy has you on Facebook. So we're friends there. That means we can be friends in real life.
Yeah.
There's no separation.
Yeah, that's true. That's very true.
That's because the world has just become so tiny.
Yeah.
Tiny, extremely tiny. That someone's literally a button away.
Yeah.
You know, talking to Trevor Noah as well. Again, it's a matter of sending that message.
Yeah.
Whether DM, whatever. Sending that DM to him.
Yeah, no. I sent a DM to Lisa Gordon. I got a response.
Serious?
Yeah, that's one funny dude.
Serious?
That's one funny dude.
No, I've heard. Where did I hear him? I heard him in Cape Town. That was the first time I heard him. Yeah. He's quite decent. He's quite decent.
For me, he kills me, man. I'm sorry.
No, he's quite decent. I think personally, I feel like he's got his own audience, like you're saying.
Yeah.
He's not everyone's cup of tea.
No, he's not everyone's cup of tea.
Definitely.
He's mine, definitely.
No, definitely. Because I've realized with a lot of comics, it's that, you know, there isn't a one size
fits all. Yeah.
You know, I think that's what Davis Chappelle does so well, because he doesn't care.
He
doesn't care. But you know, he's also going to do a few more specials. Apparently, I heard.
Oh, I can't wait for them. I can't wait.
So it's one of those things that he doesn't care. He knows it's not everyone's cup of tea, but he still does it. You know? I don't know how some comics here in South Africa do, because here in South Africa we've got the issue of language.
Yeah.
You know, whereby as Kumba can do great in KZN, can do great in Eastern Cape, he can do great in Mpumalanga, but in Limpopo,
because of the language barrier.
And stuff like that. And I suppose, as much as English is a colonizer's language, I put in inverted commas, it does help bridge certain gaps.
It really does. It
really does help. It's a business language, yes, but it opens. Imagine if Trevor Noah didn't have the accent, didn't have that articulation on point of the language. He wouldn't be where he is.
No, he wouldn't be where he is. No,
I'm not giving credit to English, but I'm just giving credit.
Very well.
I'm giving credit to just having that one medium we can all understand. Even BTS wants to speak English. I saw it with the Trevor Noah. Like, those guys want to speak English. But again, because they think that if you want to access international markets, if you want to if a friend of mine said, if you want to go global, a friend of mine is a writer.
Yeah,
a very good friend of mine. He's like, his politics are basically of, let's stop concentrating on the race thing and just concentrate on getting things done. And we'll always clash because I was like, but how are you going to get things done when you will not be allowed into the door?
Yeah,
because of your skin's color.
Exactly.
And it's like, fine, that's true, but get things done. Get it wherever you are. Get things done.
Yeah, just get it done. Yeah,
that's what he's about. And again, as I said, it just opens up the world to so many people. We don't like losing our languages. We don't like the fact that some of our cousins even don't speak African languages.
Yeah,
again, I grew up in that space whereby I had aunts and uncles ask me to because I could speak Zulu as well.
Yeah,
it was Zulu.
Yeah.
Hey, it was funny back then, but
now they've lost.
And now those kids are speaking even more than us. It's sad, but I suppose it's where the world is going.
Yeah.
Should we accept it? I don't know.
I say no.
I don't
because
know.
There's something you say that you don't know. My opinion is we shouldn't allow that to happen because there's something about your mother's tongue that if I communicate to you in it, there's an understanding that you will have that English or French or Spanish or any European language will give you. You understand what I'm saying?
No, definitely.
Yeah. Because think about it this way. Let's go back to your father loves church. I don't know. You've never said you love church, so I'm just I'm going to make the assumption.
Yeah. That's fine.
So you love church. Now let's look at the praise and worship. Like songs that are sung in English, like say maybe Hillsong type of songs, like Awesome God and all those songs. They're great. But then there's something about singing songs in Zulu. Jesu. You are one?
Yeah, there you go.
And then I said, Awesome God. You're like,
Definitely.
So I don't think we should lose that. And one of the drives that I'm on is I'm trying to start learning different languages. I need to learn Sotho and Tswana. I've been putting it off all of my life. I've been putting it off all of my life. And then I also want to learn European languages, such as like French, Spanish, and German. I'll just leave it there. And then because I work with people who are Swiss German, who are Spanish, some who are French speaking, and the sentiment remains the same. If I communicate, like for example, one guy I work with, he's Spanish speaking. I communicate him with Spanish words. He gets excited because that's his mother tongue. And then another one he's from the DRC, where he grew up speaking French because that's a francophone country. I speak to him in French. Even though it's basic, he gets excited. Same thing with the Swiss Germans speaking French. Swiss German is so crazy because they don't have like specific rules. They just speak it. I'm like, so I asked them, how do I learn? It's like, you just speak it. I'm like, how do I just speak it? I just speak it. You communicate them in Swiss German. It reaches a level that English doesn't, because sometimes you'll be in meetings and they'll be like, there's a saying in German, or there's a saying in Spanish, or there's a saying in French, and then they'll say it, but in English it means this, but it loses its
definitely
its weight. It loses its weight. It loses its core meaning. So I don't think we should lose our mother tongue. I don't think we should lose it.
No, definitely, you're right. I always believe if if white people understood the word, the core of it. If they understood words like those, then they'd understand the frustration. But I hear you. The reason why I say I don't know is purely because we are facing a situation, especially in South Africa, where there's so much getting ahead, right? With the English language, getting ahead with the English language. Whereby our African languages are being left behind.
Are lagging, yes.
Yeah, they're very lagging. Yeah. Again, it goes back to the example of a female president.
Yeah.
If ever there's an author who can actually write a prominent book, the wife. If that was written in Zulu, I always ask myself, would it have as much effect as how it was written in English? And those are things, because
that's a legit question. Yeah.
Those are things that people suffer from.
Yeah.
There's no example. That's why I always say I don't know, because I don't want to comment because now I'm in that very trap. If ever I go to a bookstore or I go, if ever there's something in English, it will be easier to consume than something in Ndebele.
Yeah.
I carry yes. Yeah. I carry a thingy. Ndebele Bible.
Yeah.
Whenever in church, I always open the English one, and then I just tell myself, "But this is the easiest way I'm going to learn is Ndebele."
Yeah.
So I read whatever we're reading, Ndebele,
Yeah.
But I'm like thinking to myself, but if some of these things, because Paulo Coelho, he's Brazilian, speaks Portuguese, ne?
Brazilian Portuguese, yes.
Brazilian Portuguese, and Spanish. He speaks a bit of Spanish, I think, as well. His books were translated into those languages.
Yeah.
Now, does it mean because there's a market for it, that's why?
Yeah.
Or they're trying to maintain or sustain the language?
I say in those countries, because I've been there, they really love their languages there. Like Brazilian Portuguese, like for you to communicate to the Brazilians there, you need to know some Brazilian Portuguese. Only very few will be English speakers, and those are those who work in like hotels or clubs or spas.
Yeah, or the tourism industry.
Let me say the tourism industry. Everything else is written in Brazilian Portuguese. The signs are in Brazilian Portuguese. The billboards are in Brazilian Portuguese. They've some stores are written in Brazilian Portuguese. Or if you try to communicate to them, like, I want this service, I want that service, they write to you in Brazilian Portuguese, and then you need to go Google Translate Brazilian Portuguese into English. So I think that they are proud of their heritage there. There's like hundreds of millions of them there, that too. But so that's what I think.
Let me stretch it and say it's one of the reasons why I'm just stretching it.
Yeah.
Why I feel like democracy wasn't such a great thing for us, because we had to.
You should join the EFF now.
No. It's not about the movement that I have. Doesn't have a space for me right now.
Yeah.
Or what I'm thinking. I feel like because there's a lot of empathy also involved. Because I believe that, again, in 1994 we gave up a lot.
Yeah.
We were like, no, there are schools that kids will go into, multiracial schools. Black kids were going to schools with white kids even before the election date.
Yeah.
In 94.
Yeah, true.
I know that for a fact.
True.
I had a cousin of mine, 93, he was in a white school. Only black child at that point in time.
Yeah.
By the time it was 95, there was a couple of us, but we just gave so much, There wasn't that, I don't think it had anything to do with lack of leadership or whatever. But I think it's like we're just flowing to it's democratic.
Yeah.
Let everyone flourish. And that's what I'm saying. Democracy doesn't allow you to be selfish.
Yeah.
Had there been a level of selfishness, there should have been, no, guys. The airport was supposed to be Oil Tambo from
the beginning. Yeah, from the beginning. Yeah.
Cape Town Airport got built.
Yeah.
In a new space.
Yeah.
And was still named
Cape Town Airport.
It
does not have a different name now. No, it's still the same.
It's still
Cape Town International.
Yeah, I get it.
Cape Town's Europe, so that's why.
But besides that, let's not make an example. But there's a lot of things that it's like we just, or the people that were there at that time, we just like, no, it's fine, and because I know, even if it's not, no, it's fine, but democracy allows us to, let's debate it. Let's, like I said, that level of selfishness was not there. That thing, guys, if ever, like in business, what my experience of business, that you will take black business. If you are a Pick and Pay, if you are whoever, take the supermarkets. What they're doing now in townships, I know in Tembisa, Pick and Pay basically bought this others. These old spaza shops, complexes in township. They bought that and they put in a store there. Those are things that were supposed to be done there. Like there was a level of enforcement, and I know from a policy perspective, those things exist. They are there.
But in implementation,
again, because democracy, no, it's a democratic right as a business to choose who they want. But if you're going to give people the ability to choose, again, I'll go back to Sankara. Sankara had, one of the things that he faced was unions, whereby, because he was forcing teachers to teach kids without overtime.
He's forcing teachers to teach kids without overtime.
Like past their time of work. So they had to do extra. If ever it means that you stay after school for whatever, you wouldn't get paid for that, stuff like that. It's something that I read. I don't know how true it was, but he faced a lot of backlash, but he got things done. He had to be selfish. The coup that he did benefited so many people of the Burkina Faso. At that time, what was the country called? I forgot. But he changed it because he wanted the change. And again, he didn't allow for no democracy. Democracy will inhibit, whether we like it or not. It will inhibit certain things that we want to achieve. I know someone would say, oh, no, because of democracy, you can do this and this. We've got whatever. But if you're thinking about like progress, if we're going to sit down always, at the table, like now, I heard there's the something about us being part of some of the courts or something. I heard on the news. One of the guys apparently might actually take up legal action because he's missed. He feels like that he's being what's the word? He's being discriminated against. So he's gonna take it to the court. Now the president has to choose someone. Some justice or whatever, or a judge or whatever. He's gonna stop that process because he's got the right to go to court and question it because he feels discriminated against. It's those things that I feel like they don't allow progress to take place, especially right progress. There was nothing wrong with white business taking a back seat for black business. We are here where we are today because white business didn't take a step back. That was not the agreement.
Well, what was the agreement?
As far as I can see, from what I'm seeing, the agreement said, no, guys, we see we don't have the expertise. We were convinced we don't have the expertise.
Why weren't we given the expertise then?
I think, I have so much belief in black people. Black people, bathatha sunlight, basebenze ama-famine. Bathi soyibeke elangeni. Because lapha efamine, there's a dehydration process abayenzayo ngensipho. So thina soyibeke elangeni, angisho sinawo ama-chemical. Soyibeke elangeni izowoma, it's gonna last us longer. That's not stupidity. There was a guy where asebenza e-factory sunlight. He saw that. He learned that. He was part of the process. He was processing that. Even though there's a chemical engineer above him. Even the whole thing, yokuthi Ushaka sold, was it Ushaka? Remember the Shaka story? Right? The one that used to play on TV? There's a part where the guy gives him a mirror. And then Shaka, I don't know what gives him for that mirror.
What did he give him? I remember that scene, but I can't remember what he gave him for it.
But let's say he gave him cattle. We're just creating a hypothetical. He gave him cattle. And it comes to me, are we as black people really doubting ourselves? Are you telling me with all the rivers, the lakes, the calabashes, no one could realize that there's a way that you can see yourself somehow? Water reflects.
It does. Oh, but I'm sure we could have. I'm sure we did.
Exactly. We're being sold. We were so primitive. We had to be sold a mirror.
I think with that goes to psychology. I don't think it's just pervasive with black people. I think it's wholesale throughout all of human history. If you want to subjugate another person, the first thing you take away is you mess with their psychology. You make them feel that they are less than what they actually are. And this was everywhere, like in the Mayan empires, there was the different classes. One of the things that I read this, so colonials, what they would do, they use the power of religion. So what they would do, they convince you that the God that you pray to does not look like you, or looks like someone else. So then you're going to have to bow down and pray to that person. So psychologically, that means you feel that you are inferior to another person. And then that's also what happens to what's been happening to females. They've been told.
Like what you're hearing so far? Make sure you never miss a show by clicking subscribe now button. Follow on YouTube, Instagram, and other platforms listed. Also, check out the website for more information. This podcast is made possible by listeners like you. Thank you for the support. Now back to the show.
That you are inferior to men, mentally, physically, all otherwise, so that you are here to serve and not protect. You have to serve and be subservient to the female, to the males. And then it's also prevalent to us. Even I have my own subconscious limitations, and so do you.
Definitely.
That are just pure lies that you decided to believe. You don't know where they came from, but you just saw it and you were exposed to it, and you bought into it. And then also what I found with black people in this country, what also has happened is that we can bring each other down and tell each other that we are less than worthy as black people, just generally speaking. And sometimes there's nothing to do with another white person, because I've seen, I'm sure, I don't know if you've experienced this in business or in the corporate environment, when you go to like pitch a great idea, or you say that we should do something different. Most of the people that have supported my role and my growth have been white people. Funny enough, have been white people, and those people who were fighting me were black people, and I didn't understand what was actually going on. So the thing is that I think what has happened is that people who try to bring other people down don't have high opinions of themselves. Ultimately, because I'm not going to encourage you if I'm not encouraging of myself. I'm not going to want to say, hey, Nathi, try this and be this and grow here and try this business. Why don't you try tweak this if I've got that low self-confidence in myself? For example, like black coffee, we're talking about black coffee. He'll give other people opportunities, and he'll give people a platform, and he'll empower people. Why? Because he's empowered himself. Like he's on Forbes for in terms of like his wealth and his expansion. Like he'll help empower other people. Now the problem is with, I think where you'll find in multiple races, why they don't empower themselves is that they don't believe that they themselves are empowered. If you look at Jewish people,
definitely.
There's not a single Jewish person who's wholesale poor. There's not one. I've never met a single poor Jewish person ever in my life. I'm still waiting for that day. If they exist, please let me know where they are so I can speak to them. But they've got an entire culture to say we empower each other. And if you're Jewish right now, you're having a tough time. They took away all your businesses. They took away all your land. They took away everything. You have the right to go back to Israel and live there with full citizenship and start again, because you're Jewish and you're from Israel. That's an entire culture. And I think from just looking at the perspective of black people, because that's the best perspective I have. Because I'm not Latin American. It's exactly that same thing. And I think even my dad used to say is we need to stop blaming other people and start holding each other accountable to what we can to what we can achieve. Because here's the thing, if I was like living a life different to the life I'm living now, for example, if I was like beating my wife, or if I was just not taking with things that I do with some sort of seriousness, are you just going to just let that happen, not say a thing?
I'd beat you if you beat your wife. I'd beat you.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You hold me. Why? That's a way of holding me accountable to a higher standard. It's like, why stuff like that. Just turn it to the rock, It's just holding each other accountable. And more importantly than that, I think my entire philosophy is start with looking at yourself internally. Start holding yourself accountable to the things that you are doing and things that you are not doing, and just having really, really tough conversations with yourself. Because if I think about it, I'm going to be honest, I should have maybe 100 times more money than I have now. I should probably be further along 5 to 10 years further along in my journey than I should be. as should you, as should a lot more
definitely.
people. But what is the problem? We're not holding ourselves accountable because there are so many excuses that I just make. Hey, it was a pandemic. Hey, my dad didn't have this. My dad didn't take the BE deal.
That guy. God bless his soul.
God bless his soul. Or my mother didn't do certain things, or they gave me this education, but they didn't teach me to struggle. Like all these internal excuses until you check yourself. Check your privilege, bro. Until you check yourself, you're not going to just really grow. But to the point of black people, if we don't believe in ourselves wholesale, I think that's the truth. That is really the truth. There's so many opportunities in front of us, and I'm taking a look at myself. Like there's so many opportunities in front of me and in front of us that we're not taking. Why? Because there is a culture of entitlement. There's a culture of laziness. There's a culture of somebody else is going to do it for me. There's a culture of I don't want to work so hard. There's a culture of laziness. The culture of mediocrity. But because if you put your back against the wall, I'm sure there's a time when you're like, hey, I have to make this thing happen, or else I'm going to die, and then you make it happen.
Definitely,
you know what I mean?
Definitely. Yeah, no, it's there's a lot of lessons or a lot of things that's why I'm going back to the psychology thing.
Yeah.
That us as black people have to sort out.
Yeah.
Sort out our minds.
Mm-hmm.
Black people only know about jealousy.
Yeah, jealous.
It's the most common thing. It's easier to point. Yeah, bang money. No. we need to start getting the soft skills. We need to start, like you're saying, the whole thing. I'm not good at it, but I'm learning.
Mm-hmm.
You're literally being honest to yourself.
Yeah.
You speak to yourself.
Yeah.
I don't have to come and tell Jabul.
Yeah.
I'm speaking to myself.
Yeah.
And I'm like, self, you know actually uflopile lapha.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
No worries.
Uflopile and njengoba uflopile.
Yeah.
Now, what are you going to do?
Yeah.
Or let's cry about it. Uflopile, I let opportunities go.
Yeah.
You trusted people you weren't supposed to trust, etc.
Yeah.
You know? But now, where do I go from here?
What do you do now?
Do I beat myself up about? No.
Yeah.
I take a lesson. I'm not going to trust people. Or I'm just going to create situations whereby if I do something with someone, I put it down on paper.
Exactly.
Finish.
100%. People have lost.
Yeah. Now I've lost. Look, I'll tell you now.
Hundreds of millions of dollars.
I'm losing a potential of about, with my business model that I'm using right now.
Yeah.
I've actually lost 25% of sales from someone who I was working with.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Because of the deal.
Because I trusted and there was nothing in writing.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
yeah.
So
it's happened to
I didn't run it as a business. I did it. I wouldn't screw someone over. Those people need a special conversation.
People?
No, Christians need a special conversation. They need to realize, number one, they're human.
100%.
Unfortunately, I wanted to listen to Musa Sono. Was it last week? Sometime on the radio. I listened to because I'm on the road a lot.
Yeah.
So he was talking about. I really missed that interview, and I can't get the podcast. So I wanted to listen to him and find out what's his take on, like, do really Christians know and understand what they are human beings at the end of the day?
I don't think they do. I honestly don't think
I'm not
do.
saying it's an excuse to do certain things, but know that you're human.
Yeah.
You can go beyond what's going on.
Yeah. Hence,
you find people who will do the worst things.
Yeah.
You know, and like, for example, umuntu will bribe for a tender.
Yeah.
Then no, God has blessed me. Again.
Did he though?
You see.
Did he though?
And
really?
he won't tell us.
Yeah, that's true.
Do me a favor, please. Get out of here. Get out of here.
You see, that's
yeah.
Like it's just an Christians get angry, churches break up, you know, and it's human beings that do that. It's not the building that breaks into pieces. It's people that do that.
Yeah,
people don't agree. People don't want to sit down. You know, like people have pride. You know, there's generalities, and if you can deal with that and realize that humanity, it's like you're saying, don't want to account and stuff. It's because we feel that part of humanity, we don't have to account to it.
Yeah.
No, it's something that's inside. I don't have to tell anyone about it. You know, I can tell Kofi because Kofi good man. Yeah, but Kofi man, but but mina ngikhona ukuzitshela why kumele ngimele coffee
no yeah ngifuna uzitshele better for
you need to ukuzithethisa and say not I did this have that point of reflection have a good I did my younger brother wrong. I did my older sister wrong. I did whoever over wrong. You know, you don't have to go back to them and apologize. I'm just saying that point of reflection, it's very healthy.
Yeah, it is.
It's extremely healthy. If you don't hold yourself accountable, you know, who's going to hold you accountable?
No one.
You're going to be lost.
Yeah.
You know, a friend of mine said, every man, you can't be a good leader if there's nothing that holds you to account. We were talking about spirituality. I'm just paraphrasing it into that.
Yeah.
You need some kind of subconscious.
Yeah.
You know, if you're not religious, then hold yourself to account.
Of course.
You can't be walking around every day and then come to you and it's okay.
Yeah.
Because, you know.
Yeah.
So accountability is very important.
Yeah,
we
definitely need that accountability, like that personal accountability. Because I think if everyone was accountable to themselves, really honestly accountable to themselves, the world will be a much better place, right? A much better place.
Look, you even think of things fall apart. The main
Okonkwo.
Yes, Okonkwo. I have this feeling in my head, or in my gut rather, that guy didn't kill himself because that the colonialists were here and he's seen that they're going to be slaves or whatever. That guy killed himself because he lost power.
Yeah, he did. I believe. I believe. I agree with you. He lost power, and he knew that the world had moved on
without him. Yeah.
And how he got the power was
exactly
not going to help him now.
Exactly.
So he didn't see how he was going to remain relevant or have the social status or have power. And then he's like, I don't know how I'm going to survive here. So I'm just going to
it didn't matter anymore which he was the biggest and the strongest.
Yeah, didn't matter.
Now we're talking about soft skills now.
Yeah.
You know,
we're talking about persuasion. We're talking about leadership.
We're talking about being able to talk to people. You know, one of the things that I think the likes of your Obamas, the likes of even Jacob Zuma, even though people don't like him, but you have to give it to him. There's a level of persuasion that he had with individuals
that
did. Put him where he is.
Yeah, I've heard of people who met Uzuma, not the character that will be presented.
No, not him. No.
In TV and Parliament. No, that's not the reason. The Zuma behind
the Zuma.
Where people loved him and he was able to connect with people at such a deep level. Hey, that's why it says
influence.
He has a lot of influence. Well, I don't know about now, but like historically, he's had a lot of influence. He was able to connect with people.
I'm not talking about influence from what we can see.
Yeah.
But you know, I've always had this thing with if God can just bless me with being influential somehow.
Yeah.
I don't want to be influential. I must be on TV, no, but whoever I come across,
you must
10 years from there, like, no man, this guy,
he changed my life. Yeah.
Because a cousin of mine once again said, it takes 8 seconds for you to make your mark in someone's life.
8 seconds, huh?
Just 8 seconds. The first 8 seconds. Everything after that is just them hanging on to that drug of how you greeted them.
Yeah.
How you approach them, whatever. You know, and I've tried to live up to that. Whenever I meet someone that I want to take the first 8 seconds without, excuse the phrase, dick riding.
Yeah.
You know, but make sure that they remember me because of what
how
I did
you made them feel
for those first 8 seconds. You know,
yeah,
those are very important things.
Yeah.
Those are things that I feel like also helped me as well in business. The first big deal that I closed last year.
Yeah.
You know, I think that first 8 seconds allowed the meeting to take place. You know,
because of the impression that you made on the person. Yeah.
And surprisingly, I started the first few seconds, I was apologizing because I was late.
Oh, okay.
You know, and then I realized, okay, the people were expecting me, cool. But after that apology, but the person that I was, the way that I came to them wearing a competitor's top. I did that on purpose.
Yeah.
There was a point I was trying to get across that you can't hold me down. I work with other people as well.
You're trying to get shot, man.
And look, with what I do, I told myself that I don't want anyone to limit me.
Yeah.
The mantra that I learned, or I started using from around about 2008.
Yeah.
7, 8 is why not?
Mm.
That's a mantra that I've been living with. And someone asked me, why would you say that? I'm like, for me, it's a limitless mantra.
Of course.
If ever I do something, I'll ask myself, why not?
Mm.
You know, it's like it brings me back. It basically what brings me back down to earth.
Yeah.
You know, this morning I was actually talking to a business partner of mine. I'm like, you know what? The way that things are so difficult right now.
Yeah.
I'm thinking, hey, maybe I should go get a job.
Yeah.
And then start afresh.
Yeah.
After a couple of months.
Yeah.
And then I asked myself, why not?
Mm.
What's stopping me?
Yeah.
You know, I've got nothing to lose. I've already started the journey. I've experienced 2 years of what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Fully, full time.
Yeah.
You know, but things are difficult now. Now I have to think in a different way.
Yeah.
You know. So yeah.
Yeah. So I've got a question. So, what do you think was really going on psychologically when my hero slapped my other hero on the Oscars the other day? What do you think was really going on? I'm not talking about like him specifically. I'm talking about just the type of behavior. I don't want to go into the incident. I'm talking about the type of behavior. What was really going on?
Should I go
from your perspective? Yeah.
My perspective is that what happened there is there's a lot of issues that influence someone to get to that point.
Yeah.
I don't think alopecia got him there.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think his wife being there got him there.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a long run of issues that have led to that point. And I feel like genuinely he was defending his wife.
Mm-hmm.
I feel that way. But again, the defense is not coming from I'm defending my wife. It's coming from I need to prove that I love you somehow.
Yeah.
That's my perspective.
Okay,
it's like he was trying to prove to his wife, no, I'm not going to let people busy talk about you.
Yeah.
Never mind the red table, the talks and whatnot. But everything, well, for us, started with Will Smith and Jada, started when they opened up about them having an open marriage.
Yeah.
You know, and again, you let people into that space, you do things. And again, sometimes we agree to things that we don't want purely because he's human too.
Yeah.
I have this belief. This actually makes me think, as you put it now, even the open marriage thing wasn't something that he wanted.
Mm-hmm.
He did it because his partner wanted it.
Yeah.
And by the way, I'm not bashing Jada Pinkett.
Yeah.
Everyone, you know, one of the things that from the girl who dumped me, the last serious relationship who dumped me, you know, that girl said to me, she never told me why she dumped me, but one of the things that she said to me is that I need to be more decisive.
You need to be more decisive.
Yes, I need to be more decisive. So, which means
you can do this to me?
Yeah.
So, it's like there are certain things that someone puts you through.
Mm-hmm.
I think we do it, men and women.
Yeah.
We put someone through so that we can see.
Yeah.
A man might do it and say, no, man, I think let's try a threesome to his wife.
Yeah.
Baba.
Yeah.
And then the wife has to decide, am I doing this
because I want to or because he wants to?
Exactly. And I want to make him happy.
And if he's not happy, he's going to go do it with someone else anyway.
Exactly. Now, I'm not saying he's innocent in all of this, but I feel like it's those things. So there's a little of indecisiveness and it's just a build-up.
Yeah, so it's a compounding of all these issues that were undealt with. Yeah.
They were extremely, you know, and now you're on the stage, you're at, there's also that element as well that I think of as well, that he's at the peak of his career. He's about to win an Oscar for the first time.
After 20 years.
Yeah, he knew he did well with King Richard.
He did. I seem to go see it, but like,
in Hollywood.
They call them rumors.
Yeah, but rumors, like him, actually rumor. There has to be another word.
Him is deeper. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm telling you. Deeper.
Yeah, so I just feel good.
Everything was pointy. Like it is. I don't think he didn't know he was gonna win. Everyone knew.
Yeah, even he knew. Yeah. It's like he gets to that point, and then now
he's crowning achievement.
my achievement. This guy is mocking me.
Yeah.
He's mocking my family.
Yeah.
You know, those things. And then all these things pile up.
And I think all those childhood issues came up, all those adult issues came up, the marital issues came up.
Exactly. And we can't limit it to only the marital issues. Whatever issues that he came about, but there was a level of him feeling disrespected.
Yeah.
He wouldn't have just done that. I think Will Smith is very professional.
Yeah.
Personally, he's experienced a lot of, like, what happened with him and Jada was, it takes a lot for you to go through a marriage and find yourself through that.
Yeah.
Where your partner is justifying an extramarital relationship because you guys have an open marriage and because you've also done it. Now you ask yourself, has he ever actually confronted her the same way as well?
Yeah.
You know, or was he just caught off guard? You know, even if maybe whatever, you know. That's again goes back to, I want women to have money. I want women to take themselves seriously and see that they don't need us. Let's be honest. And when I say need us, I'm not talking in a careless way. Yeah. I'm talking about themselves. They're great in their own way.
Yeah.
You know, they're so great. Women are great. You know, they dude, like, honestly, besides my mother, but other people's mothers, other people's sisters, you know, they've got so much potential. You know, they can do so much, but it's always those things. I feel like they just don't take themselves seriously. Yeah. Hence, they'll always find, I don't like this girl. Whenever it's like when we went hiking over the weekend. So as we went hiking, this was the first time I brought my girlfriend. You know, shout out to my girl.
Yeah, I still need me this. Still need this girl. Yeah, I need to vet.
Yeah, definitely. But I want to talk about. But I was so worried about the interactions. Yeah. You know, are they gonna like my best friend or my best friends or my mates? Are their girlfriends gonna get along with my girlfriend? You know, because because you know, even they'll say, no, guys will just go and just start chatting up and having, you know, Babizana, my chief, nan. It's casual. But for them, it's so difficult to break down those barriers. Yeah. You know, and it's because, again, back to that thing where they were taught in a certain way. Yeah. They taught, you know, the women measure each other by what they do for their men. Yes. You know, if a woman doesn't have a man, she change shit. Yeah. You know, that's why I'm like, they need to take themselves more seriously. Yeah. Because this world is theirs to take. And I know that there are guys who basically shoot me down for what I'm saying. Yeah. You know, I have this belief. If you believe Uguti, black people need a chance in this world, then you should be able to say, I believe women need a chance as well. Yeah. Now, I'm going to say this straight. This is before any other gender. Yeah. They need to get a chance as well. Before any other gender gets a chance. Women need to get a chance first.
Yeah, they need to get a chance first. Okay, so they should. So if we're applying for the same position, they should get a chance first before.
Exactly. Like I'm saying, those things should be just open up to them. You know?
Now I must not eat now.
No. you see, that's exactly what I'm saying. Yeah. And democracy dictates that you do that. You ask, no, but now I've got a right now to the same position. Yeah. But again, now we're trying to fight years and years prior to even colonization. Yeah. You know, we don't know how black men treated black women prior to colonization.
It was probably far worse than it is now.
I believe, I believe maybe it could have been better. Understand? Because if you look at how they'll say the women stayed at home, the men went out to hunt. Yeah. There was no relationship like we have now. Yeah. Let's look at it from that perspective. A husband was allocated a wife. Yeah. That was it. A wife was told what to do.
Allocated a wife, got to part of your budget.
That's it. Yeah. You know, and those things happen. But again, we don't have the proper history of that. We'll always have hearsays. We will always, you know, some people who do the research and find out stuff. You know, but I haven't read that personally. No, but I really believe in women. I really believe that they can succeed. You know, even the person that I worked with, that I feel like I should have done better to protect my business, was a female. I was intentional about working with her. Yeah. Even now, I'm still intentional about working with females. Yeah. You know, if they've got the right skill set and the right people, like I'm definitely gonna work with them. You know, and fortunately, I'm not that guy. Again, you know, all grabby and whatnot. Yeah. You know, like I keep my distance. You know, like. You know, the other thing is, I think I've told my younger brothers, I had such a difficult time with even getting girls. You know, it's only now.
You're coming into your own.
Yeah, I'm breaking out of that shell. I was always, like, I don't know whether to call it ikwababa now. Because I was never afraid. Okay, let's call it Guavava. You're right. Let's call it Guavava. But again, it's Guavava. There's no word for Guavava in Islam.
No. Well, what are you? It's timid. It doesn't have the same gravitas.
So, Lelo Guavava Lelo. It put me through all the years of my life not being able. But the strange thing is, I can interact with women.
Yeah.
On a friendship level, yes.
Yeah.
If I'm attracted to her, it becomes very difficult. But if I'm not attracted to her, I'm telling you, we can be the best of friends.
Yeah.
You know, we can discuss. I can approach you.
What were you afraid of? What the rejection part?
I don't know. That's the thing. You know, I think it's one of those things where it's more about questioning myself. Am I worthy?
Yeah.
You know, am I really worthy of this person?
Yeah, of
even before I go to the but am I really worthy?
So it's a question of worth, yeah?
Yeah, maybe.
You know what I've found is, let's take public speaking as an art form.
Yeah.
They say it's the most feared thing.
I like the fact that you call it an art form.
Yeah, it's an art form. Yeah. You don't just wake up public speaking. Like you have to practice it and get better at it. So the art form of public speaking, people are afraid of it far more than they're afraid of death.
Yeah.
Apparently. I don't know why you'd rather be afraid of public speaking. I would rather be speaking at a funeral than be in the coffin, please.
Yeah, no, definitely.
So what I've found is that people are not afraid of public speaking. People are afraid of being judged.
Yeah.
And people are afraid of contravening other people's values or offending other people.
No, definitely.
So
I can relate to that fully.
See. So for example, if you speak to kindergarteners, what's a creche, and you need to go give a speech there, you're not going to have an issue.
Yeah, you won't, because they're below you.
Yeah, they're not going
let's put it that way. They're below you.
Yeah,
you know?
You're not afraid of them, right? Yeah. So then next thing you need to go to speak to people, kids who are 10 years old. Yeah. It becomes a bit more difficult, but you can handle it, right? Then you just need to start speaking to teenagers.
Yeah,
it becomes more difficult. Then it becomes young adults, and then now in Tanazak. And then now people in corporate, people like Nathi go pitch an idea to those energy folk or those rich energy folk of yours. It becomes a lot harder.
It does.
Why does it become a lot harder? Oh, you need to give a speech. Let's say you have to give a speech to all the DJs in the world. There's Coffee there, David Guetta there, let's say Avicii was there, Shimza was there, or all these artists were there. Now you need to go give a speech there. It becomes harder. Why? Because you have the perception that you are going to be judged by what they say. They might reject what you're going to say. And what you say and what you have to offer is of no value to them because of their perceived status. So people are not afraid of the art form of public speaking. People are afraid of judgment that they may get. Similar thing if you want to approach a girl or a guy or whatever the case is. People are afraid of other people's value judgments. That's what people are afraid of.
And the people that you're talking to, the type of crowd.
The type of crowd, yeah.
You know, like, I don't want to mess this up. I'm going to be addressing what's it? You know, and the other thing is good too. You said it nicely. Nothing beats preparation.
Nothing,
nothing. There's a pastor used to say that I don't want people to think I'm making idiots of them or to. I prepare when I come here.
Of course.
I don't want to talk from a place of I'm a pastor.
Yeah.
You know, but I want to pray from a place of preparation. You know, and I think it's one of those things. I remember, when I was living in Cape Town. Funny story.
Cape Town, bro.
When I was staying in Cape Town, again, I'm dealing with my issues.
Yeah.
Let's call it what it is. I'm fine. I'm fine with it. I'm fine with it.
Gwabizi.
Yeah, I'm fine with it. Yeah. Even if Joe Rogan would ask, "What's this guy saying?" What's this called? I know it's the fear of woman.
Fear of woman.
What's it called? There's a word in English. There's a phobia actually. Is it gynophobia?
Gynophobia.
Something like that. I swear to you, there's a phobia to it. The fear of woman.
Fear of woman.
You can Google it. Google it quickly if you can. There's a fear of woman. So I woke up. The beautiful girl.
Yeah.
She's colored, right?
Yeah.
Obviously. I'm at table.
Obviously.
I'm at Table Bay Mall. So I'm like, I'm walking in towards the Pick and Pay. She's also walking in.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah, it's gynophobia. Yeah. Look at it. Like gynophobia.
So
a fear of women is called gynophobia.
And now, listen to this. At that point in time, I'm still dating someone, right?
Yeah.
So, I'm like to myself, I'm not trying to get this girl, but I'm like, hi, man. I've got a girlfriend now.
Yeah.
So that means I've upped my game.
Yeah.
Let me see.
Go
can speak to her.
Yeah.
I woke up to this girl. Oh, okay. She goes into the store. I follow her. She was in front of me in any case. Like we were walking from different directions, but I could see her. So we walk in. I start stalking her in the store. I swear to God, I'm busy preparing a speech in my head.
Do me a favor, please. Get out of here. Get out of here.
So I'm stalking her. We passed like 1 or 2 aisles, and then obviously someone can feel that this person's following me. Third aisle, I'm like, let me just go in before I freak her out.
Yeah.
So I go in there. I walk up to her. I'm like, hi. Like, hi, how are you? I'm like, oh, she's like, hi. How are you? Like, I'm good. And I'm like, I just wanted to ask, what book are you currently reading?
Yeah.
I swear, that's what I said. And this girl just looked at me and just walked away.
Do me a favor, please. Get out of here. Get out of here.
Yeah.
Because, like I said, I get to that point and I'm like, okay. But as I said, you have to grow up and, like, maturity dictates you have to change, basically. You know, you won't be mature. I'm not saying I'm going to be this playboy or whatever.
Yeah.
But for me, everything's almost like that, a challenge whereby if I'm weak in this space, I need to overcome it somehow. You know? That's how I end up dating the girl. The girl that I'm currently dating, she also met her in Cape Town, you know. I met her at UNISA at that point in time. So it's one of those things that whereby it took me 2 years to get the courage to actually ask her out, you know.
So
I met her in 2019.
Yeah.
2020 on the 1st of January, I was working in Rustenburg.
Yeah.
So she was back home in Rustenburg.
Yeah.
And I just randomly called her because I knew she was back home because she told me, we used to chat, you know, but not often. She used to tell me December time she's always at home.
Yeah.
So it was the 1st of January I was working, New Year's Day. So I just randomly called her. And then when I called her, she picked up the phone and I'm like, no, I'm in Rustenburg. Send me location again, I'm coming.
Yeah.
You know, and then she sent it to me. You know, I'm like, okay, this is strange.
This is weird. What is going on here?
Yeah, why would she send it?
Yeah,
but she did send me. So again, from that day, I told her on 2021 January, I told her that by the end of this year, me and you are going to be dating. You know,
Cheers.
Yeah, like I don't know where that came from. I was like, what did I just say? But as I said, it comes with growth, you know. All that comes with growth. Because also there's that limit. You want certain things, you want certain people in your life and stuff like that.
It goes back to what we were saying about holding yourself accountable. Because truth be told, if we were to be honest, as if we were in an honest church, because not all churches are honest. Then I was thinking of opening up my own church so I can get money.
At least you'd be honest about it.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm here to make money. Let me not do that. So, or maybe I should. No, I'm not. So
I'll be treasurer.
You know what? When I pitch that idea to everyone, it's like, yeah, you can speak. You've got the charisma. I'll be the and no one says I want to be secretary or Asha. But the treasurer, I go for it.
I want to hold you accountable when it comes to the money. Hey, I want to make sure that when we get the Bentleys, like, no, not 2, just get 1.
Just get 1.
Yeah, then I'll get the Maserati. Yeah.
No, Toyota.
Yeah.
Bese uti Volvo.
Yeah.
Bese uti A3.
Yeah.
Then after a couple of years, then you get the Bentley.
Yeah.
Oh boy. So goes back to, if you were to be honest, as if we were in an honest church, a lot of the fears and opportunities that we let slip by, we could have easily have had, but we got in our own way. Yeah, sometimes life happened. Maybe somebody stole money from you and you were just like, really, you did everything right. Life happens.
Yeah, no, definitely.
But like the personal accountability, you could even be married to this girl like a long time ago, or you could have be CEO of your own thing that's turning over millions of dollars.
Yeah.
Everybody, if they were to be honest to themselves, did you really put in the effort? Did you really work on your own self? Did you really overcome what you had to overcome to get to where you need to get to? If everyone was really honest with themselves and didn't make any excuses, hey, Basman did this, or this person did this. If you were dead honest with yourself, you could be far further along in life. And those Christians who say who believe that God wants the best for them get in their own way because they don't really believe that, and
they don't believe in themselves.
They don't believe in themselves. So
they believe in God.
So like, which is counterintuitive, I think. How do you believe in God who created you? So if you don't believe in yourself, you don't believe in God. I honestly believe that. If you don't believe in yourself, you can't believe in God.
You know, the gospel.
Well, we believe in what you can do because of God. Let me say that.
That's what I was getting there.
Yeah.
That the gospel dictates that we do all things through Christ.
Yeah. But now you don't believe in Christ.
Now.
Yeah.
Even Christ himself, if you think about it.
Yeah.
There was a level of self-belief that he had in himself.
Of course, yeah.
He definitely, a young man coming out to people, if he's really having a human experience, he was supposed to have those butterflies.
Of course.
When you realize, oh crap, I have to make sure that these people believe.
Yeah.
I have to sell this to people. You know, I read a book by Ogman Dingo. I don't know if I told you about it. The Greatest Salesman in the World.
I've read that book.
Wonderful book. Wonderful book. I bought it because it was on the road to becoming an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
Because I thought, okay, sales. Okay, I'm like, okay, I need to know how to learn to sell myself.
To sell, yeah.
But again, it gave us those values.
Yeah.
You know, when that guy eventually tells us at the end of the book that this is how the Apostle Paul sold the gospel to the world.
Yeah.
Again, it goes back to that. If you don't believe in yourself,
it's done. It's tickets. You
need. There's a level of self-belief. Even if you don't, like I said, confidence is not something that's across the board. You know,
we all have those areas of insecurity.
Exactly.
Everyone's.
I call it a human experience.
Of
in
course,
all honesty,
yes.
You know, if you don't have that, then you're not human.
Yeah.
You know, like I always talk about Dan Pena.
Yeah,
Dan Pena. If ever you have to be a high performer across the board.
Yeah.
But in reality, you're not going to be a high performer across the board.
There's somewhere you're going to suck.
Yeah, somewhere you're going to suck.
And honestly, like the world balances itself out.
Exactly.
Let's say you're a high performer with the ladies. Let's say you're a high performer with the ladies.
Yeah.
But you're not high performing when it comes to finance.
Yeah.
Now you switch your focus. It's like, forget the ladies. I'm gonna go after the Bentleys and building the business. Now your focus is going to go there. Something is going to have to give.
Yeah.
So because the world's going to balance itself out. But I think the conversation you need to have with yourself is, where is it that I want to be a high performer? And people, again, are honest with themselves. It doesn't matter what you pick. You can be a high. Your dad loved church.
Yeah, he chose that.
He was a high performer. Now, if he chose that, and then he didn't get to like CEO level type of performance within the church, he's got no one else to blame except for himself, because of some things that he did or did not do. And then if, for example, let's say Elon Musk, I am in love with the work that he's doing. I used to say I'm in love with Elon Musk, but that sounds wrong. I'm in love.
I don't blame you.
I am in love with the work that he does. If there's anybody I would want to spend like an entire 3 years with, it would be Elon Musk, just learning from him across not human history, but like alive today. It would be him. His marital life hasn't been that rosy.
Yeah.
So some people are like, oh well, look at his marital life, it's a failure. No,
but it's a human experience.
It's a human experience. Now what he chose was changing the world through technology and science and creating things that were not there. And then he's being rewarded for it with the billions of dollars that he's worth. Now he's bought Twitter, and now he's building all these companies that are changing the world. And the reason he's doing that is that if he's honest with himself, he put in the work. He didn't make the excuses. He didn't give up. He didn't say, I came from South Africa, now I'm an immigrant in America, now they're holding me back. Or that even when he speaks, he's not the most articulate person in the world. However, he can still command a room. He could have made all those excuses. And he could have said, the government didn't want to fund me, or this person didn't want to fund me. He could have made all those excuses and blamed all these external realities. But he told the truth, and he worked hard, and he put in the effort, and didn't make the excuses. Hence, he is where he is. Other people, would say, unenyoka. All these things. But like those people who would say something like that, I don't know if they exist, but if people would just say something like that, if they're honest with themselves, they haven't got the excuses out of the way, they haven't put in the effort, they haven't done the disciplines that they need to get to a certain level. And I've found that people who are actually doing, have you ever noticed that it's only people who are not doing anything with their life who criticize other people? I don't think you've ever noticed that.
Look, the thing is, I've got this thing, if you're not trying, or if you do try, you'll have a testimony.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
When I say that, I'm talking from perspective, whether things go positive or negative.
Yeah.
You won't have excuses, you're going to have testimonies.
Yes. Mm.
Right? But people who don't try,
they're
the ones who end up having excuses.
Exactly.
Because doing is basically the gist of it.
Mm.
You know, if you don't do, you're going to make up. Even now, we had a lengthy discussion about race and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't try as a black child, whether we know why people look at our skin or whatever. But if you don't try, we're not going to know.
No, we're
now,
not.
like literally, I'm proud to say that I was basically the first agent for one of probably the biggest companies in the country.
Yeah.
Right? As a black kid.
Yeah.
For that company.
Yeah.
Right? Even with other companies, they didn't have, well, I don't know if they do, but as far as I know, they don't have a history of having agents or people who work, or contractors, if I can call them that.
Yeah.
You know, for one of the top 5 companies in the industry that I work in, you know, and it only happened because I tried. You know, if I had failed, I can say, no, I went to these guys. They told me, hey, they're not going to do because of what. Then you see you've learned your lesson, I suppose, from a personal perspective. But when you've got a testimony for others, you can tell them, no, I did try. The important thing is to try. But if you don't try, there won't be any testimonies.
Yeah.
Just excuses.
Exactly.
That's it.
Just excuses. Yeah, 100%. Everyone.
And the nice thing, like I said, it will complement the fact that, not complement, but it'll go against whatever you think happened because you didn't do it.
Of course.
You know, I know I could have done this, but you didn't.
You didn't.
You know? But also, the other thing is that I've taught myself, let's not beat ourselves up for what we've done.
Yeah.
When you're having those nice conversations, let's not beat ourselves up about it too much.
What we did,
Yeah. Let's rather work on what are we going to do about it.
Exactly.
Every day I wake up with that situation that, should I be calling this doctor? Should I be calling that doctor? Should I be calling that client? Whatever, you know. But every day I sleep fulfilled when I know that I've made those phone calls, even though the whole day, all those calls could have come out to nothing. But I'm fulfilled that I did it.
Did you put in the effort?
And it makes me wake up tomorrow.
Again, it keeps you going.
Exactly.
For the next one, one.
Habit is a beautiful thing.
Yeah, it's a beautiful thing.
No, it is.
You read Atomic Habits by James Clear, yeah?
I haven't read it yet.
Yeah, you should. You should. It's a beautiful book. Right, so we're going to get to the point. We've been here for 2 hours now. So we're going to... Yeah,
I've been talking for 2 hours.
Yeah, it's time to kuluma, lads.
Yes.
So this is where you get to be the host and ask me questions that you're curious about. So we're going to get my perspective on anything. So you become the host for a couple of questions.
Let me throw in the first question.
Yeah.
Your book, I Am the Business.
Yeah.
Is it I Am the Business?
You are a business.
So you are the business.
Yeah.
What made you get to that point of realizing that you are the business?
Right. What made me get to the point was I finished. It was a combination of things. So I'll start by talking for the first book, Inspired Success. There, I'm trying to understand what makes people successful and what makes people failures. Okay. So then, when that book came out, within a short space of time, I made hundreds of thousands of rands through book sales. And because I didn't put them in bookstores or anything, I was literally being a door-to-door salesman. Here's a book, buy. Here's a book, buy. Here's a book, buy. It went very well. And then I did something that I was sad about, but I'm actually happy that I did. I took all that money and I spent it. All of it.
No, definitely.
All of it.
You worked hard.
I worked hard to spend all of it.
Yeah.
So then my wife asked me, like, where did all the money go? I was like, no, I spent it, like all of it.
Yeah.
And then my dad was asking me, like, oh, so how much money do you make? I told him how much money I made, like in a certain month. I told him how much money I made in a certain month. And then he was like, how much do you make? And I tell him, and he's like, and I get nothing of it. People don't want their blessings in life. So there was that. Yeah. So then I started thinking, there's a better way of doing this, because a first-time business owner, first-time entrepreneur, They're just focusing on the product and just making sales.
Yeah, yeah.
Now, the second time around, you're thinking about distribution and building a much bigger business. And then I also got tired of where I was working, the amount of money that I was commanding, and me not feeling that I was applying business principles to my life, because I started off doing some strategic consulting work, and where I go to your business and then I say, if you do X, Y, Z, your business is going to increase like this. But I wasn't using that in my own life. Now I thought that was a lie. Yeah. And then, when you don't get your promotion or bonus or an increase or the money that you deserve, you start blaming everybody for your negative realities. The government, the family member who didn't want to loan you money, you make all these excuses. Yoga that you have, that you don't have.
Escom for the load shedding.
Telcom for the high data prices, all of that. And then and then I remember listening to this other speaker. He said the most successful people in the world treat themselves as, they didn't say it like, say most successful people, regardless of who they work for, see themselves as their own boss. Doesn't matter who's paying you. So you take a whole lot more responsibility for yourself. That's when the seed was planted. And then I had a conversation with my dad and my brother, and they said almost the same thing. There's people in your industry who are command probably 10 times more than you are, who are not doing pretty much anything different. The only thing is that they're taking themselves seriously as a business. They see the people that they serve as customers. They invest in their PR, their marketing, research and development, and they build themselves up. And then I realized I was actually quite good at branding myself and putting out this image out there and just being good with people. So I said, anytime I write a book, I'm solving a problem for myself and a problem that other people have. So that's why I said I had a conversation with myself. I said I need to treat myself as my own business because no one else is going to do it for me. And also my mother, when I was 16, she came home crying because they were trying to force her out of work, that whole constructive dismissal thing. And she was crying and she said, don't work for somebody else the rest of your life because your potential is going to be limited and you're going to be frustrated. And then I said, there's no ways I'm going to live my life like this, right? So that's when I got to the point, and I spent about 2.5 years thinking about the principles, writing about it. And then I actually realized there's a lot of people out there who have that problem, the problem of it's someone else's responsibility and not mine. It's someone else's onus to increase my wealth potential and not mine. So when I put this to a book together, a lot of people who want money were like, I want to have this book. I need to have this book. I need to have this book. And I had to have this book because the message that I'm sharing is that you need to treat yourself as your own business. And then I look at different it's what successful businesses did, what principles businesses can use, and things that you can use in your own life, depending on where your journey is, whether you are employed, or trying to get to a side hustle, you want to be self-employed, you want to start building investments, and just have that journey on that. So that's where I got to that point. The biggest lesson that I'm still learning from that book now, the biggest lesson that I'm learning now, which is a result of patience, and it has cost me a lot of money and a lot of time and a lot of frustration, I was looking more at the short-term gain and not the long-term gain. And then when you're looking at the short-term gain, you start making a lot of compromises that will end up hurting you in the long run.
Of the product,
not even the quality of the product. I'm like, just like where the journey is going, even the quality of the product. You're like, I need to get this thing out now, but then long-term might hurt your reputation because the quality is bad. Or you might start making, you might take this client over that client because you need the money now, but you're not looking at what things will build for you over a long period of time. So I've started to learn that, so I want to build over a decade or 2 decades. And even if I don't see the returns, I know I will, but I must have that patience to say, maybe quit after 10 years of if you've really redone everything that you can. Because people say, I want to be a speaker, or I want to be an agent, or I want to be a call center person, or I want to be an author, and then they quit after 4 months of trying it.
Definitely.
So they don't take the long-term view. So that's how I got to the point of you are a business and treating yourself like one, because I wanted to like grow and expand. From that, the podcast came about. From that, my coaching business started from that, because people want to learn from whatever advice that I can share to them. So that's how I got to that.
Okay. It's very interesting, because I always thought, because we actually, especially now, because we're speaking about, I always thought it was about the accountability aspect.
There's a big part of it.
Unfortunately, I haven't read the book yet.
Yeah, that's fine.
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
But with the synopsis, I think with the one that I saw on Mango, but I just read the synopsis at the back, and then I figured, okay, there's a lot about, like you're saying, accountability.
Yeah, there's
holding yourself to account, being able to put yourself in those positions, being able to fire yourself.
Yeah, exactly, 100%. And then also, if you, I say to everyone who's in a corporate job, start a business.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Start a even if you don't want to be successful, I say start a business. Why? You'll start having a bigger appreciation for your bosses and the organization, because you'll start to understand some of the decisions that they are making. For example, like in your own business, if times are tough, you stop flying business class. You don't do that anymore. Exactly, economy, or you start driving. Yeah. And then if you don't do something, like if you don't make a call, the business suffers. So that's why they're like, oh, my boss is so tough on me. Why is he on my back? Because if the work doesn't get done, a lot more people will suffer because you wanted to take your tea time.
No, definitely. Yeah. It's actually quite a cool way of looking at it, because like I also encourage people a lot to venture. Not for profit, but for personal growth.
For personal growth, yeah.
More than anything. It's not, some would say it's your baby, but a baby will live and make its own decision. A business needs you to make decisions. There's no business that flourishes on its own. It needs individuals to actually
make the decisions. Yeah, yeah.
And then the next question that I have is, I've since I've known you, you've never really been a political guy, right?
Yeah.
But I always see you as that guy. This is me personally.
Yeah.
Because I like looking at things from a power perspective. You being that power that lurks in the shadows, right? Now, as that player in that game of being a power player in the shadows, what would you do for a country like South Africa?
What would I do for a country?
Well, let's also be honest. Power players don't usually do anything for the bigger scheme of things. Yeah, but it's usually for direction. But if you had that power, I feel like also with this platform that you've created, there's a level of power to it.
Yeah.
So what can you do for South Africa, or what would you do for South Africa to implement or to create some kind of change?
I'm trying to leave South Africa. I'm done. I'm going to Australia. No, I'm not going there. What would I do for South Africa? Pretty much a lot of the things that I'm doing now in terms of so I don't know, why not make it easier for business people and entrepreneurs in the country, and make it a whole lot easier for you to register a company, get funding, be able to educate yourself on how to be self-employed, employ other people, because the way I found where government says that small businesses are very important. However, I remember speaking to Dimitri Grekas. He owns like a design company, and he complained about the same thing. He said, the government says we should all open up businesses and we should employ other people, but you make it so ridiculously tough for us to do so, to get the funding, to get the clients in a legal way, in an above board way. We don't want elephant tax or any of that, in an easy way, and make it easier for us to get infrastructure and coaching and mentoring. Because one of the things that I studied, I was like, what are the things that make like Finland and Denmark and Switzerland and the Nordic countries like happy countries as well as prosperous countries? They've got some of the richest per capita income in the world. Why is it that they are so great? They're very good with their governance, because if you collapse institutions, you're finished. I mean, just look. You were talking about like Home Affairs. You were talking about all the many government departments that are not well run. If they collapse, if they fall apart, then we're in trouble. What I would do for South Africa is make it easier for people to have their own businesses and to get funding and really take their destiny into their own hands instead of always having to look for employment. Empower them so that they can go and create employment. Or even with myself, if you ever try to, like, because I've got companies, if you ever try to hire someone, it's difficult because now you need to think about the HR policy, what the termination agreements are going to be. You need to think about the medical aid. You need to think about the UIF. You need to think about leave, T breaks. You need to think about the minimum leave days. You need to think about sick leave days. It's really tough. And then have you ever tried to, like, I don't know, you said you fired someone, but in this country, I was speaking to another strategic consultant. He said this: be careful who you let in the door. Yeah. Because it's virtually impossible to fire someone. Short of someone walking in and shooting someone else in the head, you virtually can't fire someone. Because now, if you don't perform, you can take me to the CCMA, and if I lose that case as an employer, what will happen is I will be a case study to the CCMA to say, oh, look at Njablo James PTY. Look at 103 PTY. Look at what happened. They were taken to the CCMA. So then now, any person I let in knows that I was taken to the CCMA. Now they'll have that at the back of the mind to say, oh, I'm going to take this person to the CCMA if they get anything wrong. So they say, be careful you let inside in the door, because now if you're not performing, you need to take them through performance appraisals and all these appraisals. But here's the thing. That works if I'm a large corporate, like a Discovery or a Liberty or a Standard Bank. It works there because it's a large institution.
You can actually properly invest in your people.
You can properly invest in your people. Now, if all I need you to do is to just make sure that my podcast is edited and uploaded and marketed correctly, I put you in charge of that. And then now you're not doing that job. And then I need to let you go because you're not doing your job. I need to go through the same process that Discovery, Standard Bank, Absa, all these people need to do. All I need you to do was, like, edit my podcast. That's all I needed you to do. Yeah. So that's from the shadows. I would never. Well, let me not say never, but let me say never. Let me say that I would never run for political office. Run for president. I used to think when I was in my teenage years, I thought that's what I wanted to do. But as you grow up, no, I would rather do this. I'd rather speak, lead, inspire, help build businesses, maybe open up a personal development lifestyle center where we use biblical principles. I don't want to call it church because I know exactly what would happen. Nathi would want to be check my Bentley fees. I'd rather use all my leadership and communication and influence skills to make a better South Africa in the background. So that's what I would do, like make it easy for people to start businesses and to invest in themselves and let them be able to flourish even though they can't get a university education, even though they can't get a diploma, because the truth be told, nowadays, if we were to really, really be honest, university degree is great, but it's not going to dictate the people who are going to change this the country for the better. That's just my view. I've got a junior degree. I've got an honors degree. I'm studying towards a PhD. I'm telling you, all that stuff is not going to. What needs is like real life skills, because people will get master degrees on this and master degrees on that, but they can't master real life skills because they haven't been empowered to own and control resources, wealth, and power. They haven't been taught how to do that. And not to say that I know how to do that 100%, but I'm conscious that that's what's going to set people apart. So that's what I would, if I could wave a magic wand, I'd be like, right, let's make it easier for people to get into business for themselves, to hire other people so that other people can get into business for themselves. That's what I did. People say, not everyone's meant to be an entrepreneur.
No, I don't believe that.
Everyone's an entrepreneur in some way, shape, space, or form. Not everyone's supposed to be like an Elon Musk type entrepreneur, but everyone at some level.
Exactly. I think those things come from with exactly what you said.
Yeah.
If you create a conducive environment for entrepreneurship,
sure,
everyone can be an entrepreneur in some 100%.
Some people are better at it than others.
Yeah, look, here they create and there's a conducive environment for opportunity, if I can put it that way. Some might say no, but there is a conducive environment that they make it seem, no, South Africa is the land of opportunity, but creating. So I fully understand what you're saying.
Yeah, that's
create
that. Yeah, and then also, like, I'm really into personal development. That's why I would say what I would do is what I'm currently doing now, through the messages that are being shared on this podcast, through the books that I write, through the speeches that I give. It's sharing that message so that people can develop personally. Because if you're not, we're still going to have GBV. We're still going to have people white collar crime. We're still going to have people not taking accountability. We're still going to have people not stepping up to the opportunities that are in front of them because of, the systemic things that are holding us back. So that's what I would do. I wouldn't want to give the State of the Nation address and tell people that we're not just at level 1.
No, but again, remember I said, you're the power that lurks in the shadows.
I'd rather be in the shadows. You know what? Okay, definitely. So I remember having this conversation with, who was I having this conversation with? I think it was my dad way back. He's like, there's nothing wrong with flying under the radar.
No, definitely.
He said, there's nothing.
I love it.
Yeah, so that's pretty much why I like Batman. He's not all over the place. He's like always in the shadows. He's always, and then then I was doing some research as part of your business, right? But just remind me that you take one for you, right?
Oh yes.
There's this family called the Rothschilds, right?
Yeah.
I'm sure you've heard of
them. The Rothschilds.
Yeah, the Rothschilds. And they control the banking industry in Europe at one point. And then I'm sure Rothschild said this, which was so powerful. He said, give me the power to control a country's economy or currency. I care not who makes its laws.
Yeah.
I was like, oh,
you see,
why did that turn me on?
Those are mind orgasms. Yeah? Like if you don't feel that, that's exactly what
that turned me on.
I feel like many people are about being in the front.
In the front, yeah,
for the wrong reasons.
Exactly.
When I say for the wrong reasons, so that they can get validation from others. Because if they say to you, you like being in front, go join the guys in Ukraine. No, not me.
Exactly.
But that's why I like the concept of power lurking in the shadows. People who are in the shadows people who are in the shadows make such a huge difference.
Yeah, they do.
And it's unfortunate that they're playing the game that benefits them directly.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, but it benefits them, and not others. I mean, like, for example, that's just the way I do it. Like, my philosophy is, I'd rather let me do something, and then about it when it's too late for you to do anything about it. I'd rather. For example, I dated Zama for a very long time. Not a lot of people knew. Few people knew, but not a lot of people knew. And then when I decided to get married, the people who knew, and then a majority of people found out a month or 2-3 months after. It was too late for you to do anything about it. And why? I didn't want to make a big hoo-ha about it. I didn't want to make a huge start a YouTube series and say, let me do this, let me do this, let me do this.
Being Mr. and Mrs. Nkosi.
Keep it here. Keep it here. Like Muhammad Ali is a big hero of mine. He said, your hands can hit, but your eyes can't see. I love it. So like, if I have to have the power, people will not know how much money I really have. I will never disclose it unless you're my wife or you're a family member, or not even me. I wouldn't even tell my mother. No, just keep it quiet and just like do things for people in the background, and don't be loud. Don't be the loudest one in the room is the weakest one in the room. So I want power that's real power, but that real power that you don't have to flex. Because the person who has to flex their power is not really that powerful.
Yeah, not definitely.
That's what I think.
Not definitely. They don't have power.
No,
if you have to show it, it's not there. It's non-existent.
There's some people like who are so rich, but you would never say, like, people like have stupid money, like money that makes that will boggle your mind, but you'll never say that this person. I remember seeing a chartered accountant, well-known chartered accountant. I had a conversation with him. We were at a conference in 2013, presenting there, and he looked like a really, really crusty, dirty farmer. And I'm like, I started talking to him. I'm like, so what's your story? He's like, guess what I am? I'm like, you look like a trusty, dirty farmer, so that's what I'm going to go for. He was like, no, I'm a high-flying chartered accountant. I'm like, you? Why? It was like, yeah, it's just the way it is. So it was like, no, it's just the way it is. People don't need to know that I'm a big CA. And then he was also going through a tough time. He just got divorced, and he just told me about why you should get married or shouldn't get married and all that stuff. I'm like, okay, all right, cool. But the impressive thing to me was how he didn't look like what he actually was, and I'm like, that's dope.
Again, it goes back to the comic book thing.
Yeah,
we like it because we want to do things, give it a face, but we want to come back to our normal lives.
Exactly.
Superman wants to do good, fully, but he knows he can't do good as Clark Kent.
He can't, definitely
not because he's scared, but he can see, if I do as Clark Kent, there'll be a lot of taken advantage of. There'll be a lot of this, that, and that.
But as Superman, he can do a lot more. Exactly. 100%. So I would rather have the power that's in the background, because even there's this organization called Toastmasters International.
Okay.
And I was doing a lot of leading and speaking for them. There was this one lady who thought I was just timid and shy and whatnot, because that's how I would interact.
Exactly.
And then when I got up to speak, she was like, "Oh my gosh, I didn't know you had all this, or you could do this." Family members as well, they were like, "I didn't know you could speak this well, or you could perform like this." And I said, I didn't feel I had the need to tell you. Michael Jordan didn't tell you he was the GOAT. You just knew. LeBron James says he's the GOAT. That's why he's
finalized now.
That's fine. Like, they didn't make it.
It's such a...
What happened to the Lakers? What happened to the Lakers?
Just a quick diversion. I was speaking to a colleague a while back. We're having a conversation. I was like, there's something strange about this season.
Yeah.
Very strange. Like,
the
way that the Lakers have been playing fine, but even the way that other non-suspecting, like the Phoenix Suns,
are doing well.
I'm like, there's something wrong with this season. And I said to him, well, I'm sure the Lakers are going to pick up in the playoffs. And I said it boldly, but now I'm like,
unfortunately,
now I'm leaning back to my first statement. There's something strange about the season.
Because the Lakers are not going to the playoffs.
The playoffs without the Lakers. How does that feel to you? Like, honestly. Now, this is a question. I'm like,
it feels egregious.
No, I want to put it to you. It's like a World Cup without the Brazil.
It's wrong. It's wrong. It's like World Cup without Italy. Italy's not going to the World Cup.
No, we can deal with that. We can deal with that. They haven't been doing so great over the years.
They won the Euros.
Yeah, fine. But I'm just saying from an World Cup perspective.
They haven't been into the World Cup since 2006. So let's leave them alone there.
Yeah.
It feels weird. They're not going to be talking about LeBron James at all.
No stats about him. Giannis is not doing so great as well.
Giannis is not. I know it's KD who's not doing well.
No, I'm saying from the Milwaukee Bucks.
Milwaukee Bucks. He's not doing well. I thought he was a lock-in for the playoffs. It feels
they're playing. I think they're going to play but I'm just saying, putting him as that playmaker that he was last season.
Yeah, he's not doing as well. No, I mean, for me, it feels out of place for the Lakers to not be there. Even if they had to lose in the first round, I can deal with that.
Yeah.
But they're not going to be in the playoffs.
They didn't make it.
They didn't make it to playoffs. That's like the playoffs without the Golden State Warriors.
Look, as I said, the Golden State, you can do without them. There are teams whereby
the Lakers, the Boston Celtics, the Miami Heat, the Bulls.
Those teams are teams that make the playoffs.
Exactly.
Those teams have history.
They have history. Because think about it. Only two teams have done three-peats since Bill Russell and the Celtics back then.
Mm-hmm.
It's been Michael Jordan's Bulls and Shaq and Kobe Lakers.
Exactly.
Now, we're not going to have a playoffs. We're going to have a playoffs without the Lakers.
Exactly.
The Chicago Bulls not winning anything feels out of place. I haven't won
you see,
it feels wrong.
It's weird.
It feels wrong. Imagine like the World Cup without Argentina.
Yeah, Brazil.
Or without Brazil.
Yeah.
Or without Germany.
Yeah, exactly.
Or without Spain. Like, imagine that's how it feels. Like LeBron disappointed me this season.
But now that's the thing. Okay, let's I think this can be, if we still have time, can be my last question. If we don't have time.
Yeah.
I mean, look at the way that basketball. I don't know how much you know about the format of the game, but that whole thing of being the pressures that come with being a playmaker.
Yeah, yeah.
You know,
being the point guard or the shooting guard. Yeah.
Yeah, well, but the main guy.
The main guy. Oh, yeah, the main guy. The
being
guy.
Yeah,
or like a Giannis or a LeBron
yes.
or
so
a Devin Booker.
Yes,
or
they build a team around.
Build a team around you, sure. Or a Steph Curry, sure.
Where are you doing that? Where are you How are you building your team?
How am I building my team? That's a tough.
When I say team, I'm not talking literally about individuals, but what models are in place to get you? You've got your speaking business, your consultancy. You've got your public speaking business. You've got the podcast. These all, but like, what are you building towards?
What am I?
Because I had a very interesting question whereby someone asked me that, Nathi, you're doing all these things. Where are you going? Is this just you dabbling here and there where the money is? Like literally, where is it going?
Yeah, sure.
Sure. Here's Njabulo.
Yeah.
Where is Njabulo going? And what is he? What is
100%. No, I see what the end game is. Like, funny, it's a question I've been ruminating because I've been playing DJ gigs. I've got another one on Saturday.
This week.
This week Saturday. Before.
Oh, okay.
Before.
Okay. Okay.
So we can go there.
Start there. Cool.
Yeah.
Not a problem.
So where is it going? So when I was 16 years old, yeah, it was 15, 16, 2007.
Yeah.
I was really into TBN, Trinity Broadcasting Network. You see, I even had to go vernacular so you understand. TD Jakes, Joe Osteen, John Hagee, and then I was like really into.
I remember those days.
Oh, 100%. So then what happened is there was a sermon that was preached by John Hagee, and it was called "Write It Down and Make It Happen: Roadmap to Your Future."
Yeah.
So then he said there are 3 sections that you need to write about: your overall life, where your life is going, and then roadmap for your marriage. And then also prosperity. Okay. And then for me, by nature, I'm built to have multiple interests but linked to one thing. I love communication.
Okay.
And I love interacting with people by different mediums. I write books. People read, they interact with me in a way that they won't personally. Because there's no way I'm going to speak to 7 billion people on earth, but I can through books. John C. Maxwell said the same thing. I read something John C. Maxwell said about that. Speaking, I have a natural gift there. I'll use that to speak. Podcast is another way to speak to other people. That's
definitely it's just a different
another way.
But
and then someone told me that being a public speaker is show business. Nothing more, nothing less. Let's be honest. It's show business. You're not different to Kamompela, but say singing your songs, performing to other people. You are. You're a performer. You're a performer. Like look at Kevin Hart, comedic rock star. You are a performer. And then with DJing, playing music, you know that there are songs in your life that touch you in a deep way that speeches can't. Like if you hear a song, like when I hear I love Kwaito, bro. I love Kwaito to death.
Can I tell you mine?
Yeah.
Kind of. I'm not embarrassed by it, but it's like, people find it weird. It's Sweet Home Alabama.
Sweet Home Alabama. I don't judge you.
It does something to me.
It does something. I don't judge you. I do not judge you. I mean, like, and Backstreet Boys.
Okay.
Everybody.
Okay.
Yeah, I like that song.
No, definitely.
Yeah,
I feel you there.
Exactly. So there's like this music that expresses what words can't, especially when you can't be silent.
Oh,
because that's the thing is because like when you play, for me, Michael Jackson's "Beat It" is my favorite song of all time. I can't listen to the song and feel bad. And then also Avicii, God bless his soul. I was heartbroken when he died.
Yeah, I remember that.
Is because
I heard from you that
each of his like high moments in my life when I started listening to him are marked by an Avicii song. Yeah, so like Super Love, Wake Me Up, You Make Me, all these songs. So one of the things that I also did art for like 3 or 5 years in high school. I was top of my art class, so I used to communicate a message through drawings. So now I need a way to communicate that, and I found music is a different avenue to do so. And then, so what I wrote down, write down, make it happen. Overall, I said I want to live my life for God as a minister, businessman, conqueror, servant leader, and entertainer. The common thread there is leadership and communication throughout all of them. Like Nathi Black Coffee, don't see him as a DJ. That guy is a leader. That guy is a communicator and he's a leader, and he knows things that most CEOs don't know because the way he's been able to build and scale his own business, right? And then what I wanted to do through all that is build businesses and organizations. And if you look at most of the top business people out there, like an Elon Musk or a TD Jakes, they have, or an Eric Thomas or a Tony Robbins, they all have businesses that they run and they build. Kanye West made his billions off of fashion design, not music.
Definitely.
Jay-Z, he made his money off of his business and investments. So that you've got all these businesses. So that is ultimately what I'm building towards. It's going to, I don't know when it will come together, but it's all going to come together in some way, shape, space, or form. Because if it has nothing to do with business and leadership, it has nothing to do with speaking, if it has nothing to do with some form of being a minister, if it has nothing to do with music in some way, shape, space, form, I don't want to be involved. I don't want to be a tennis player. I don't want to be a football player. I don't want to be a basketball player. And I'm not venturing out into things that are just going to make money, because I'm not going to venture into something that doesn't make any sense. Project management, consulting, it builds your business leadership and speaking skills. Podcasting, it builds your business leadership, speaking, and planning skills. Music production and DJing, what you're doing, you learn to communicate in a different way. Public speaking, it builds influence. And also what I've learned is that if you have a podcast, if you have a book, if you can speak, and if you can play music that people really love, your influence goes throughout the roof. If we really want to be honest,
because you've got all people in all those segments.
You've got all the people in all those segments, and nowadays it is impossible to find someone who's only just doing one thing.
Not definitely.
I haven't found one. Because if I take a great speaker, let me take Tony Robbins for one. He's a life coach, and he's a speaker, and he's a businessman, and he's got a podcast, and he's got events that he runs, and he owns part of the Golden State Warriors. He's partner of the Golden State Warriors. So how is that only just one thing? So I'm not venturing into politics. I've got no interest into politics. I'm not venturing into law. Just watch that light. Watch that light. Watch the light. Give me a sec. Wait. Hold it.
Well, this is embarrassing. I'm the first guy to bring down the light. I think I kicked it. You're just saying some beautiful stuff there. My feet got kind of excited.
Your feet got kind of excited. Don't worry. We'll keep that in as part of character. So there's no ways you can just be doing. I'm not interested in like law, politics. I'm not interested in becoming a scientist. I'm not interested in being a carpenter. I'm not interested in just venturing into a business that I don't understand. Because I mean, in terms of investing, it has to be technology. It has to be property. It has to be cryptos, NFTs, because I'm excited by that. I'm not going
to. That's what you do and want.
That's what I do.
That's what you know.
It's what I do and want. I'm not going to be a farmer. I've got zero desire to be a farmer. I've got no. I don't want to be a truck driver. I don't want to be in construction. I don't want to be a pilot. I don't want to invest in things that have got zero to do with me. So that's ultimately what I'm building towards. The next stage in my development is to really start getting people to help me at a bigger scale. Because I need people to help me a lot more. Especially when I find it in this organization I do work with. I primarily would like to be a one-man band, but I can't do that. I can't scale. I can't grow. I can't do more if I'm a one-man band. One thing that the getting married taught me is like, I had my team of groomsmen. I had my team of groomsmen. I had my family. I had my wife's family helping out. You can't do anything by yourself.
You're not an island.
You're not an island. So that's what that's the team that I'm building around. That's where I'm going, and it's going to take me the rest of my life to do so. So that's what I'm building towards. So that's the basketball dynasty that I'm building, because because it's got these different elements, but they all need to work together to something. Definitely. So I'm not going to go. I'm fortunate that the things I'm interested in can yield a lot of money. I'm fortunate to, because think about it. If you're an Olympic gymnast, you earn far less than a tennis player does. Like Rafael Nadal has made hundreds of millions of dollars being a tennis player. Fortunate for him, the sport of tennis is structured in such a way that allows him to make those millions of dollars. Unfortunately, for some other industries, they're not as matured. Not to say that you can't make it, but it's just a bit tougher for you to make that type of money. So I'm fortunate that I have an innate interest in IT, and now everything is powered through IT. The computer that I'm using, the equipment that I'm using, everything is technical and has got IT. So some people said it looks like you're doing a lot of things. And then I reflected, I'm like, maybe I am doing a lot of things. Maybe I am, actually.
Just 2 comments and the last question. One comment and the last question. I grew up with a grandmother who used to do, I don't think it was her being negative or not, but it's, again, going back to, that's what they knew. You can't do everything. So that's the comment, that we can do everything that we want to do.
That we want to do.
The issue is that, are you going to focus on making them sync together, like you're saying, or are we going to just throw everything around?
Throw things to the
I really
wall.
resonate with everything that you just said with regards to with whatever I want to do. That's the plan as well. It's like somehow everything is interlinked. Somehow.
It has to be interlinked.
Something has to be.
What are we doing?
And then the question, I think this is the last question from me. I've been reading a lot of Wall Street, Silicon Valley stuff. And whatnot. I'll say it. If ever, what's your take on? Okay, I don't know how to put my question, but I'm gonna try. I'm gonna make an analogy. You own Batu or Drip or whatever. Nike comes to you with what you're doing. Nike comes to you and is like, look, we want this. What do you do? Do you sell? Take the money and go? Because you've done enough as far as they continue? Or do you hold on and like, no, I want to push this as far as I can?
It depends what I started the brand for ultimately.
No, I'm saying literally on this playmaker. That you're building on this, let's call it a conglomerate that you have. You've got a podcast, the NJ brand. You've got podcast, you've got a books. You've got your music. You've got your project management. What else? What am I missing?
You've got the speaking as well.
Speaking, and then you've got the IT side. Now this is a baby. Now you've created this huge up and coming thing. Right. Now someone comes and like, no man, you're building something that we like. Sell it to us. What do you do?
Listen. If this is, I would say no.
Is it out of sentiment?
I don't think that's out of sentiment. I think it's out of why I am building it. I'm building what I'm building. I don't have an RA, by the way. I don't have a pension fund. I don't have a provident fund. I don't believe in them. I've never believed in them, because I haven't heard of a single billionaire or a millionaire who's got any of all those things. I've never seen them. It's only people who are not millionaires and billionaires who've got provident funds. What their pension provident fund is the business that they are building. And a financial advisor told me this. Like, he was one of the most honest financial advisors of all time. Azukjela 99.
You need to have him on the show.
Who needs to have?
The financial advisor.
I'll get him on the show. Like, he wrote the book Finance for Non-Finance Executives.
Okay, I think I heard it.
I'm telling you. Said the only, and he was like, this is within the first 5 pages. So before all the advice that he's going to give, here's what you need to know. The only freedom that you have is the business that you build and own for yourself. The end. Now, if someone is going to, if I build the NJ brand to a point where other people are going to buy it, I don't want that to happen, because I'm not building this to be sold. I'm building this to pass it on.
Okay.
That's why I'm building it. there's other things. For example, if I was like bored one day and I was like, I'm going to build a gin brand or a beer brand, and I'm not as invested in the beer brand,
I get you.
I will build it, and like Conor McGregor,
just
make $600 million on whiskey. Yeah, he did that. Okay. Like it's not, and that's not something Conor McGregor is known for. Yeah. He's not known for beer. Yeah. So like if I had Batu and Drip, and there's a new shoe called Via, I need to go buy it actually to support our guys.
Yeah, definitely.
If I was building it and I was like saying I wanted to benefit the people of South Africa, I want to benefit the African continent, and I want to have 600 stores worldwide. This is exactly what Batu wants to do, Theo wants to do. Benefit the country, benefit Africa, have 600 stores globally. And he hasn't gotten to that. And if I reach that goal, he's not going to do it. But if it's something that he wants to pass on to his children, then he'll do it. But like for me, like if I was to build this podcast, like Joe Rogan, let's give Joe Rogan as an example. He hasn't sold his podcast. He sold the rights for it to be aired to Spotify. Those are two different things.
Definitely.
Spotify doesn't own his podcast. They own the rights to air it. Hence, he made $100 million. Like now, if he sells his podcast, he has to stop being. It has to be stop being the Joe Rogan podcast. So other people are running it while he's still alive. I don't think his soul would allow that. I don't think his soul would allow that.
So with regards to all of that, it's basically legacy.
Yeah. 100%.
There's a lot of legacy. There's a lot of societal benefits. And so on, right? Now, I've been facing quite a bit of a dilemma with that. You know?
Okay.
I tend to feel that in this modern age that we're living in, we're at that. Remember, you mentioned those 8 types of business people.
Those stuff. We didn't even finish those. The 8 types of. Let me actually finish them.
Okay.
So that we talked about the creator. We talked about the modifier. We talked about the trader. We talked about the analyzer. We talked about the star. I won't remember the last 2, but one I see your wealth type being is a supporter. It's actually in one of the books, right? You're a supporter. What a supporter is they support someone else to build a big business and they become rich by doing that. So there's his name is Steve Ballmer.
Yeah, I know Steve Ballmer.
He helped Bill Jeezy. Bill Gates. Bill, please come on the show, please. Like,
not definitely.
Yeah, so
we will pray and fast.
We'll pray and fast. Fire. So Bill Gates built Microsoft. Steve Ballmer helped him build it, and he became a billionaire in the process. So what supporters are exceptionally good at doing, they'll get behind someone who's got the vision and the mission, the goal, and they're like, how do I support you? How do I help you? How can I help you close this deal? How can I help you bring this person in? How can I help you do what you need to do to get to the next level? Those are supporters, and that's underrated. It's like in basketball, you talk about like a Steph Curry, but no one talks a lot about Draymond Green. A lot of people talked about Michael Jordan, but he didn't win without Scottie Pippen. LeBron James, he wishes he won by himself, but he had AD, he had Dre, he had who's this guy from the Miami Heat? Yeah, Chris Bosh, and he's married to Gabrielle Union.
Dwayne Howard. Yeah,
was it Howard?
Dwayne White? It's Howard. The one who's married. His name is Dwayne.
Yeah, Dwayne Wade. Sorry, Dwayne Wade. D Wade. Yeah, he had D Wade. In Cleveland, he had Kyrie Irving. He had Kevin Love. Those are supporting cars, supporting roles. However, they can be like Robert Horry. He has 7 NBA championships. He's the greatest role player of all time. He's not the star of the show, but those teams would not have won had he not been there to make the critical shots. So that's what the world type I see you in. Like you are a strong supporter. You normally have 2 really dominant wealth types. Mine is I'm a star and a modifier. Really, like I don't create things from scratch. I see what's working and I tweak it. And then a star is like the personality, what the person. The wealth type works for me. The other wealth type of yours, yours may be a creator, maybe a modifier. You need to really think about it.
I think I'm more of a modifier.
You're more of a modifier, okay.
That's where I was going with the question.
With the modifier, yeah.
Because sorry, I hope I didn't cut you off.
No.
It was more about I've gotten this point that the world has become so modern. Most things are already done, right?
Yeah.
I'll make an example again of the part twos of the world and stuff like that. If I was at the helm of that, and a Nike or an Adidas or whoever came and said, "Look,
you want to buy what you're doing?"
Yeah, like I wouldn't sell everything totally.
You'd sell a part of it.
Yeah, I'd sell a huge chunk because they can. I think they've been doing so well to push where they are right now, especially in that industry. You know, it's like that's why I'm reading a lot of the silicone stuff and with the startups, the tech startups. It's so easy for the tech startups. Like there's even a series about it. It's called Silicon Valley on Showmax.
Yeah, I've seen.
So it's like
yes.
So you get that. So it's influencing me a lot with regards to the way that business has become so modern. Everybody wants to start something great, right? But now again comes that part that what are we doing it for?
Yeah,
I don't think I'm doing anything that I'm doing to sell. But I've realized that if someone can do it better, and I can still get paid for it, I'd let it go.
So okay, no, I get that. No, that's a very credible argument. You like the way I understood your question was, are you want to sell everything completely?
No, not everything, but like that whole thing. You
partner with them.
Yeah, partner or just give away full control, if I can put it that way.
Yeah. I would because you bring in partners who know things that I don't know. Yeah, as long as I've got like a controlling share.
You know, the other one is the Shoe Dog.
The Shoe Dog,
by Phil Knight.
By Phil Knight,
his biography.
Yeah,
you know, I read it like, and I was reading it while I was living in Cape Town. So every time when I'd fly, I was reading it on the plane.
Yeah.
You know, I think after 6-7 flights, you know, so I was reading it like hectically. So he included investors into his company and stuff like that. So obviously now Nike is huge. You know, I don't know how much percentage he has now, but he brought me that you know, sometimes maybe including others in what we do is not a bad thing.
No, I don't think
you know, so it goes back to your point of you can't work as an island on your own.
Yeah, no,
you know? Because I've learned that as well, that in business in South Africa, a lot of the issues that we have is that people want to be on their own. That's why people will always be SMMEs, will never be corporates or big conglomerates.
Yeah.
You know, because there's this thing, I started, my company's name is Miela Business Enterprises from the ground and whatnot.
Yeah.
But in order for growth to take place,
you need partners. Yeah, you do. You know, 100%.
So that's I just wanted to get you to pick your brain on that. Is that is it as just as that hold on to the NJ brand? Yes, that's you. That's the legacy.
Yeah.
But when you talk about, for example, for music, right?
If 100%.
If there's a kid who's better than you, you know, out there.
Yeah.
You know, if there's a guy who does public speaking better than you, someone who can concentrate more on the project management aspect, you know,
rather do that
on crypto and IT, someone you know, like, and still have that energy. Because I believe that we need to create. Because again, going back to the point of creating those examples for those that are still coming up, that a South African can create a whole corporation that's made up of 6 business units.
Yeah,
they're all working together nicely. Whatever.
Yeah,
you know, it's important that we have that. But I feel like we shouldn't be holding on to legacy at the expense of growth.
100%
and expansion.
100%. So I don't know if you know the talk that was given by Vusite Maguire on the fundamentals of business, where he talks about the difference between his grandfather had a retail store, like a tuck shop.
Yeah, I don't think I watched that one. But
check it out. You give some valuable information there. And he takes, he says that his grandfather had started in 1978, somewhere around there. He started that spaza shop, and then now it's nowhere.
Yeah.
And then now the guys from Cape Town or Stellenbosch, YT Person, they started ShopRite.
Yeah.
And now they do 181 billion rand in turnover.
Yeah,
I think it's more now.
Yeah,
what was the difference? It's the whole thing of thinking big, and they didn't want to hold on. They didn't want to just say, I'm just going to keep this thing small because of my own legacy. they partnered with other people, and then they were able to grow it through a lot of mentorship and infrastructure and big thinking and partnerships. They were able to do that. Same thing with Kota Joe and Mr. Price and all these companies that are big, that are massive, where there are other companies who started with exactly the same thing, exactly the same thinking, exactly the same product, but the thinking was different. And what the difference is obviously certain opportunities, and then the infrastructure and the thinking and wanting to partner and build and grow. That was what the difference was. I'm not opposed to getting people to come in, consult, help me, partner with me, take a percentage, because if I give you equity in the company, you're more motivated to help me, right? You're more motivated to help me because I own a part. You have that sense of ownership, right? I'm not opposed to that. What I am opposed to is giving the whole thing over, where the vision is not even what I wanted in the beginning. So where I am right now, I'm saying I need to start partnering a lot more. I do give short-term contracts out every now and then to say, please do this part for me, here, do this part for me, here, do this part for me. Because it's much easier because of all the HR policies that are around. I'd rather bring people on a freelance contract, but I don't see it as giving over full control versus you getting help to build, because they'll see things that you don't see. And if you want them to motivate, give them a 10% stake, this percent stake, that percent stake, so that they'll be able to grow and grow even further. And let's get to the point where the whole thing is worth like $7 billion, and I have potential to grow it to 70. And what I need to do is partner with somebody else. It's much better to have 50% of 70 than 100% than 100% of 70.
Definitely.
So that's the way that I see it. I don't see it as giving over control of your business, because some people may know far more than you do about what you need to do when you get to a zenith.
No, definitely, you can't give away everything.
No, I never.
The other thing is it's a monetary thing, I suppose. Whereby if someone's giving you X amount for everything, 100% equity, they really have to really put in a good offer.
Yeah, a very very good offer. Yeah.
Because now again, it's their risk is that now they're taking their own vision and trying to make it or trying to emulate your vision with theirs. It's not going to happen.
No, it's definitely not.
You came up with the idea. You're the one who knows exactly where you wanted it to. That's why it's where it is. That's why they want to buy.
Exactly.
You know.
Yeah.
So no, it's quite cool.
Cool. We've been here for nearly 3 hours.
Sure. That's a long time.
I tell you, that's how these things go. So that has been Nathi Mabena, my best man, a good friend of mine. I've known each other for years and years and years, and that's me, NJ, the host of the NJ podcast. And remember, guys, that success is a progressive realization of where the ideal. That means you're going after what you've always wanted to go after, because it's aligned with your highest values, and that's the only way that you can really live a truly fulfilled and inspired life. So you need to go out there, change the world, because you're the only person who can. Thank you very much for joining the show.
Amen.
Do me a favor, please. Get out of here. Get out of here. You think you can do this to me?
There you go.
Thank you for joining us on this episode on the NJ Podcast. Make sure to visit the website, the njpodcast.captivateair.fm, where you can subscribe to the show in iTunes, Stitcher, all the other podcast platforms, or via RSS, so you never miss a show. You can also find the video content on the YouTube channel and Instagram page. That will be Njabulo James on YouTube and njabulo.j.ngosi for Instagram. Please subscribe and follow on those platforms as well. And while you're at it, if you found value in the show, we'd appreciate a rating on the podcast platforms, or if you'd like to tell a friend about the show, that will help us out too. If you'd like more information about published or upcoming books, visit www.njabulojames.com for more information. Please reach out if you would like to share what you would like to hear and which guests should be invited to the show. And remember, success is a progressive realization of a worthy ideal, which means that you are doing what you have always wanted to do because it is aligned with your highest values, and this is the only way you can live a truly fulfilled life. Now just chill until the next episode.